Okay, let's relax and talk about all this new data, the latest data dump, and everything we haven't yet covered in the case of Madeline Soto. Madeline Soto, the 13-year-old who sadly had her life taken just as it was beginning, pretty much, by her mother's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns. Thankfully, Florida has these sunshine laws where they give us so much information. Basically, we can dissect the case and talk about it together before it even goes to trial, if it ever goes to trial. He might want to think about pleading guilty, changing that plea because of this new poem that was released dedicated to Maddie, even though we don't know who wrote it. So I want to take a deep dive into all of Jennifer's available interviews, whether they be just audio or short body cam snippets, any of her interactions with cops. We're going to go over her 6 interviews and how she reveals more and more in each interview, especially when we get to this last known available one that we have when Jennifer was being transported to Central Operations before this press conference on February 28th. It's noisy and hard to hear, but that's when she started opening up about Stefan Stearns, her boyfriend, and how he quit. He resigned from his Disney jobs. He worked at that Disney Soaring Around the World at Epcot. I've been to that ride. It's cool. The other Journey, Figment, Imagination, whatever that ride is. We'll talk about that towards the end. I want to methodically go through these interviews. And before we delve into Jennifer's interviews, let's talk about those 30 photos we got yesterday. Thanks to the YouTuber The Docket. I'll link to him below. I'm grateful he even got those 30. Those 30 photos were part of a much larger group of photos that authorities will provide to us. The Docket already paid more than $56 just to get those 30 photos. I'm beginning to see why it takes authorities a lot of doing to get this information over to us. They upload it on that File Cloud website, and it takes, I forget, like 3 minutes or something for them to upload one photo. So imagine how long it took them to upload like nearly 800 photos as we saw before, let alone all the videos. The Docket asked for that group of 30. We didn't initially want to just pay for hundreds more without knowing if they were just going to be duplicates of the 800 we already paid for. That's what gets confusing when you're dealing with evidence. They can't necessarily tell you in advance everything you're going to get. Of course, some stuff you'll see, okay, body cam, it was from the night Maddie was reported missing or whatever. You kind of have an idea, or these might be Jennifer Soto's interviews, or Chris Stearns, Stefan Stearns' dad, his interviews. They might be labeled as such and they can kind of pick and choose those. But in terms of asking authorities, like, can you scroll through this whole video and tell me if Jennifer's in this one, or can you give me only these? Yeah, they don't have time to do all that. That's why it costs money. So anyway, the Docket asked for a subset of 30 to make sure we weren't duplicating the photos we already had. The 30 we got proves, oh, this isn't stuff we've seen before. It was a lot of Stefan Stearns looking goofy with a Snapchat-like filter, and there's a lot more on the way. There's nearly 300 videos on the way, representing more than 105 hours worth of body cam videos. We don't know what's on all of those. Maybe some of them are the ones we really want to see, like Jennifer Soto and Stefan Stearns on body cam or in interview rooms. I don't know what we're going to get. 911 calls. Will it be the same 3 911 calls we heard before, like Jennifer's mom and her sister, I believe it is, calling in when Maddie was missing? We've gotten those more than once. Or will it contain other 911 calls that we don't know about? We'll see. But it could take up to the entire month of September for them to provide us this data. So authorities, as they're working to redact all this information to get it to the point where they can give it to us, they'll give it to us piecemeal. So we'll just see over the next month what we get. And you will notice, of course, in the upcoming audio, anytime generally Maddie's name is mentioned or Jennifer's mother's name is mentioned, or even sometimes when Stefan's name was mentioned, it was redacted. It gets on my nerve. I understand why they had to do it. I understand how long it takes because I'm used to editing audio and videos, and you have to, if you've got a 5-hour video, for example, you have to firstly watch the whole thing as you're editing and listening to, cut out Maddie's name in each portion. And that ends up taking not only the 5 hours you're watching it, but, if you are anal retentive editor like me, you tend to go back, and so in essence, you're kind of listening twice. To verify you did things correctly, you might end up with a 10-hour day editing one 5-hour video. Imagine 105 hours worth of body cam videos they have to redact. No wonder it takes so long. But from the stuff they gave us yesterday, we don't get details. We'll probably learn details later. We'll try and match up what we get with what we already have. One photo was labeled 9271 South John Young Parkway, car. Now, what happened at that address? Previously, that huge 896-page document told us that on March 1st, 2024, Detective Leonard Jones responded to the area of Destination Parkway and John Young Parkway. He was canvassing for evidence in the case. And during that time, Detective Jones responded to Holiday Inn Club Vacation, located at 9271 South John Young Parkway in Orlando, Florida. So he was reviewing their surveillance. I'm sure it took a long time, but he found that at around 9:40 a.m., the target vehicle, this is the one Stefan Stearns was driving, silver Lincoln MKZ with that Florida tag IYLLA2. It turned into that business property from Emissary Avenue, proceeded to their parking garage. He was in the parking garage. He was described as a male wearing a dark hat, that infamous backwards dark hat he loves wearing all the time. Red shirt, tan pants. He exited the vehicle, opened the trunk, and it appears that the male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp body to the trunk of the vehicle. So that's what happened there. That's why we're seeing that photo, and it's kind of far back, but it looks like it could be Stefan's car. And I'm wondering, okay, was this when he was leaving the property? We don't have a timestamp on there. Or was this when he was coming into the property? And kudos to that detective for canvassing and going through all that surveillance and finding it. Because you'll tell whenever we go over Stearns' deep dive of his interviews, we may have done one so far, I'm not sure. We can compare it to how much he's lying. At 9:40 a.m., and it doesn't give us a date, but I presume, of course, it's Monday, February 26th, the day Maddie was reported missing. So it's 9:40 a.m., Stefan Stearns is moving her body to the trunk of the car, but through his little mealy-mouthed Mickey Mouse interviews, he's telling the cops, oh, I don't know where I went. I was pretty sure I was at the vape shop at 10 a.m. And, you know, Detective Tagler, Myra Tagler, I love her. She suffers no fools. She's like, look, this is not making sense. Where did you go after dropping Maddie off from the time you went to the smoke shop? It's an hour and 20 minutes unaccounted for. Well, now we see the proof is in the pudding. More proof is coming out. More proof can be shown to a jury. Despite how Stefan might say he was meandering around and can't really remember where he went, a jury will be able to say, okay, we see where you were. And now also that poem. What did you guys think of that poem? Was it a confession from Stearns? Who wrote that poem? It's called Always. The photo was titled Axon Capture Photo 2024-0730, and then it has other numbers after it. So that means that the poem may not have been found and uncovered until July 30th, 2024. I'm wondering, where was it found? Who wrote it? Folks on Reddit are analyzing. Does it look like Jennifer Soto's handwriting? Comparing it to that journal entry that talks about freaking out whenever she sees males that resemble her perpetrator. Some people believe that wasn't Maddie who wrote that. Some people believe it was Jennifer. So they're comparing, you know, the way she shapes her Y's and her N's and her M's and everything. Was it Jennifer writing that poem? Which would be weird. And on the other hand, other people are saying maybe it was Stearns, because Stearns has called Maddie sweetheart before, and that poem called Always mentions, you know, sweetheart. It's pretty sickening. It very well could have been him. Maybe it took detectives a long time, of course, to gather all the information from the apartment, or who knows where they found the poem. Maybe he had written it and tucked it away somewhere before he was carted off to jail. Who knows where they found it? If Stearns wrote it, maybe was it over his parents' house? His apartment he shared with Jennifer? Did he tuck it away somewhere, thinking he wouldn't be arrested, thinking he would never be caught? Was it some kind of love poem he wrote to his victim, Maddie, after taking her life? And then did it take a while for detectives to, of course, go through everything and open this thing up? It looks like it had been folded. Then did they see this poem and say, oh, we better capture this. This is good evidence. This could be very well a confession. I mean, especially those last lines. If you haven't read it, it says Always, and it had Maddie, her name on the other side, nickname Maddie, and a blue heart. It read, "Your hair was like honey, with eyes stormy blue, gone far too soon, I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure, your laughter filled the room, the world is not the same, I will always miss you. I loved you so much, I would have died for you. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you." And this is the line that stopped me in my tracks last night, and I was reading it and thinking of it over and over again. I believe I woke up thinking of this. "As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you." So this person is making it sound like, as I held you in my arms, my heart died as you died. I mean, that's putting themselves at the scene of the crime with the victim in their arms. What kind of poem is this? Rest in peace, sweetheart. So people remember Stearns, referencing somewhere in all this audio, not the part where he said, love you too, say goodbye. There's a different audio somewhere where I can remember his voice saying, sweetheart. We'll have to find that perhaps in a future deep dive. It ends with that same line, I will always miss you. Before we dive into analyzing all of Jennifer's 6 interviews, these are the 6 that we have thus far. Maybe you've heard some of them, maybe you've heard all of them, but I haven't done a big deep dive video with you into all of her interviews. The more I listen and listen, the more I pick up. So before we dive into those, let's look at Maddie's drawing. Some stuff I haven't heard other people say. Now this is just the drawing, not the drawing of her unclothed people. This one is the one where she wrote, "But I've got my eye on you," next to an eye in the sky. She's kind of dancing, kind of happy in the grass beneath it on that portion. And I love that eye in the sky. It reminds me of a vision I saw like before my dad died and everything. And then I looked up that verse about the eyes of the Lord roam about the earth, looking for someone to strengthen. And it just kind of reminded me of that, the eye I saw in the sunbeam one day in Chicago. It was beautiful. The minute I saw, "I've got my eye on you," it reminded me immediately of a lyric. You may have heard the song. I don't know if this is what Maddie was referencing or not. It could have been, a stalkerish vibe, someone's looking at me, or it could have been a positive vibe. Someone is looking at me. I love that eye in the sky. To me, that's a beautiful thing. Or it could have been Maddie's affections for her crush. Maybe it had nothing to do with Stefan Stearns at all, seeking her, stalking her. It could have been, hey, she's got her eye on someone. This is more of an innocent crush, a girl and one of her first crushes, something more innocent and pure than what she was experiencing with this adult perpetrator. I guess a song of comfort. And it makes me sad that home was not a place of comfort for Maddie. So that's what it reminded me of. I haven't seen anyone talk about that aspect of it. And the song next to it. People might recognize that song more, Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey. So she's skipping, Maddie's skipping in the sun in one part, and she has that eye up there, and she has the grass under her feet, looks happier. The Summertime Sadness is a different, darker, sadder picture. Looks like she's crying, maybe darker hair and just a crying point. And we know that song by Lana Del Rey, I got that summertime sadness. So that's a sadder song. And maybe Maddie was looking at the dualities of her life, the dichotomy of her life. Maybe she was contrasting, I got my eye on you, this cute, innocent girl life with her first crush, compared to this heavy summertime sadness. I don't know. I don't purport to know what a victim was thinking. Of course, Maddie's not here to tell us what she was thinking, sadly, and explain stuff, but I just wanted to, bend your ear about that.
Of course. Do they speak English?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's get into Jennifer's interviews, what we're going to talk about. Now, we've seen Jennifer, how she's reacted to cops when they first showed up after Maddie was first reported missing that Monday night, February 26th. And there wasn't a lot of interaction caught on body cam. There wasn't any deep interviews with that first contact, of course.
Hi there.
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So, was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick up from school.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid, or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
Alright, so people are still on the scene. Let's put that out in the possible location. How long?
13.
I'm trying to get there right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Alright,
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline. Madeline.
Madeline. Last name?
Soto. S-O-T-O.
But what about the days that followed? You know, as Monday bled into Tuesday and into Wednesday when Stearns was arrested, then Thursday was the day that Jennifer found out Maddie was most likely dead, and then Friday, March 1st, was when Maddie's body was recovered. There's an interesting transition from that first point of contact and how her interviews change and expose a little bit more. There's no rhyme or reason to what they've given us already. There might be more. We got the Monday body cam at some point. I still don't think we have all of it because 2 cops responded to Yolanda Zambrano's place of business, that insurance company. We still only have 1 body cam video. They were still telling me, no, we don't have it. So maybe in this next group of huge videos, maybe they'll find it. So we've got that one. And we've got audio from a few days. And then we have the 1 snippet of video in there where the officer makes a quick contact. We'll go over that again. Where Jennifer's so bundled up. The dogs are out there. Stefan is wandering around. To me, he was spying on the dogs. You know, he was trying to see what the cops were doing and trying to, I think he's made several efforts to keep them away from his car that he was driving, doing these dastardly deeds. But anyway, that video of Jennifer bundled up, that happened somewhere in there, and I was like, oh, wow, we have this. So who knows what else will pop up? There might be several more body cam videos. Now, we know at some point Stefan Stearns lawyered up. We don't know when or if Jennifer lawyered up. We might have tons more video interviews of her on the way. Who knows? We'll see. But the first one we're going to go over was Jen at her mother's office. Of course, Monday, February 26th, it was around 7:46 p.m. The red flags were beginning. First of all, it starts with the fact that Jennifer herself didn't call the cops. It was like her sister and her mom who called. And that's the point we'll just go over real quickly now because we've seen it before. Jennifer appearing surprised to learn that Maddie's school laptop could be tracked via Wi-Fi if it hit any Wi-Fi. And Jennifer correcting Stearns about Maddie wearing black shorts instead of black pants. But according to deputies with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, when they responded to the scene where they found Maddie, it says they located what appeared to be a female wearing a green sweater and blue jeans in the wooded area. So Maddie might not have been wearing anything black on the bottom. But did she go to bed that Sunday night with black shorts on? Was she changed? These are the things that might come out. We don't know.
S-O-T-O?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd, 2011.
February 27th, 2000?
22nd.
Oh, sorry. 22nd.
2011.
2011.
Just her 13th birthday.
13.
1418 Charlie 45. What's the name of the signal aid?
Madeline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get a clothing description now. What was she last seen wearing?
26 County Charlie 45. People hit my call 931. It's the same call.
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts.
Yeah.
Black shorts? Okay. Black shorts. Alright. Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
She doesn't know where they live. Okay.
I asked all of them.
Okay. Is this like, does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friend's house? Any places that like she likes to hang out?
Not typically, no.
No.
Not typically?
No.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I get some.
Thank you.
No problem. And what school she goes to? 125. Do you have a picture of her? Can you airdrop it to me?
Yeah, I know. Let me see which picture. I don't know which picture.
Anything recently, probably from a birthday party, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so I had to look at what's up.
Go ahead. That's what I'm about to grab right now. Yeah. Alright, cool, thank you.
Is this a good enough picture, or do you need a whole body picture?
Perfect.
Okay. How do I airdrop? I don't know how to do it.
I got you. Okay, where's the photo? Right there.
It's on WhatsApp.
That's fine.
I saved it to my photos, so you could go.
You saved it to your photos?
Yeah, we can just
Perfect.
go straight to the photos.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. I'm gonna send it out right now to my other guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Showed up. So they called since I don't even know when, but whenever they, what did you say that what she called? My question is not why is it not a code 3 when it first came out?
1649, yeah.
Yeah, so that last time she was seen, it was early this morning, like 7 o'clock.
Does she have a cell phone or anything?
That's what I'm about to see. I'm about to go check. I just try to get as much information now of her clothing description, send it to Diaz, because Diaz has a hit in like a big area full of kids. So if you want to help me out with this one,
Yeah.
put me my signal expert. By any chance, does she have a phone number or a phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
You have it.
And I've already gone through her messages.
Okay. How about, does she have like an Apple Watch? No. Does she have
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
a school laptop? Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be. If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi.
So if I like circle here.
It connects to any USB.
Well, does she know have a history of running away or anything like that? She's hanging out about time kind of thing?
Possibly, I don't know. She got dropped off. She was like, so she's embarrassed by his car. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like half a block away so she can walk.
It's an image thing. She's in the face.
But he dropped her off half a block away and drove away.
Okay. Did she ever go to school though?
No, we called school.
She was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she caught her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction. It looked the same as any other morning.
Okay.
What was the last thing you asked?
If she had went to school, I think that's what it was.
So I got confirmation from the school that she never made it. They sent me an email saying she didn't make it. But I also spoke to her or emailed one of her teachers directly, and he looked at all her attendance for all her periods and told me she didn't make it at all today.
Okay.
Say it again? No, she's supposed to have a book bag. She was supposed to go to school, but didn't go to school today.
Good.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Battery FGOA 212319 at Turtleback Loop.
third party for Saturday to complain
Alright.
children by two juvenile males. You're requesting 1045 only. It's code 2, 1945.
I'm trying to figure out secondary spots, but so far negative on anything. Yeah, you could be 51 to me. Alright, cool. 34 too. Alright, cool.
I'm getting you.
Yes, Sector 4 units prepared a copy of local from OPD at Florence.
Yeah, it said negative on that hit at the park.
Way,
So.
reference a 21 to a vehicle. Pursuing local, reference a 21 to a vehicle.
I think
Going
black
to be
shorts.
an unknown male, gray hoodie,
Also
black
black
pants,
shorts
black
and
ski mask,
white Crocs with
gloves.
socks.
No further information. 1064, 1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
How tall is she?
5'1",
Weight?
110 pounds,
About 110, 112.
Hair color?
blonde.
Blonde, like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. Eye color?
Blue.
Does she have any markings on her, like any scars or anything like
Has
that?
a distinctive beauty mark on her face
On
here.
her face.
On the face, like below the nose or near the nose?
Yeah, like right in that area there. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it. Big.
Any other scars or anything like that? Which you know?
Scars? No.
No.
Tattoos?
Tattoos? No.
She doesn't
You'd be
probably
surprised.
Like,
Did you put out the description?
I put the top part out. I didn't get the rest of that stuff here, so I need to put it out.
Counting 34 is here. Updated 14 to 38. White female.
Can I just see that phone?
Black shorts, white plastic socks, approximately 5'19". Blonde, dirty blonde hair. Blue eyes, has a beauty mark under the nose. There we go.
I'm getting a random 407 number. Okay. Hello? Yes? Hi, Principal. I'm okay. How are you?
Yes, right,
No, we're currently with police officers here right now.
Yep, start getting the
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find her
paperwork.
anything.
Does she have any social media or anything like that?
she has Instagram.
Right here.
OBT, tap on,
Private.
1948.
Just family,
Thank
cousins.
you so much. I
friends.
definitely appreciate it.
Right here.
That's her profile?
Yeah.
She also has a YouTube page.
Okay. Any Snapchat or...
She plays games.
No, that's the other
She plays
phone.
games. She plays like Minecraft.
The second interview we'll deep dive into is Jennifer Soto on Tuesday, February 27th at 11:16 a.m. So it ends at 11:44 a.m. It's about 30 minutes long, one of her longest interviews we've heard thus far. Jen can't necessarily remember a lot. She talks about Stearns, of course, going to the vape shop, and she repeats one of her famous lines, Maddie never made it.
All right. Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, 11:16 hours for OCSO case 24-011313. Can you state your full name?
Jennifer Lucette Soto.
All right, Jennifer. So I'm here to talk to you today. We're going to talk about, and you're familiar with kind of why we're talking right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me when is the last time you were with someone?
Saw her, I'm going to say Sunday night.
Okay.
I heard her Monday getting ready for school.
So you last saw her Sunday night about what time?
I would say 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
And you were here at home?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
She actually slept upstairs with... we have a guest bedroom. We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep. And I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep. So I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs? Mm-hmm. I knew he was going to get her ready. And
sorry. Okay, so you needed some good sleep. So was it about 11 o'clock?
Yeah. I sent them upstairs and I went to bed.
Okay. And that was about 11?
Yeah.
And do you guys normally all sleep together? Because I know you said that she sleeps in your room with you typically, right?
She sleeps with me typically. Typically when he comes into town, because he lives with his parents in Northport, Florida. Mm-hmm. When he comes to town, he'll sleep in the guest bedroom.
Okay. And Stefan is the one you're referring to, right?
Yeah, Stefan Stearns.
Stefan. How often does he stay here?
Oh... he moved away back in December, so I'm going to say he's visited at least 2 to 3 times since then.
Okay. Why did he move away?
He was offered a better... Well, his dad had offered him a job, mm-hmm. but it fell through.
Oh.
So okay. Now we're trying to get him back here.
And he just visits?
Yeah.
When he visits, does he stay for like hours, days, weeks?
I would say days. This time we had planned on him staying a whole week because I was going through training at work. Mm-hmm. So I wanted him to be here to help me with the dog, help me with the training.
Okay, so this time he was planning to stay for a week. How long has he been here? Or when did he arrive, rather, this time?
I can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning.
Okay, that's fine. Sometime this weekend?
Yeah.
So that was last night around 11. And so about what time did you hear her on Monday morning?
I heard everyone getting ready around... I'm going to say 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And was it just Steph? Who else lives here?
I have roommates.
Okay.
I have Angelica Negro. There's one roommate, and then Natalie Rosero.
Okay. And you just heard all of them, or did you hear anyone in specific?
No, I just heard, if anything, Stefan came and woke me up accidentally because he was trying to let the dog out. Mm-hmm. And the dog gets really nervous sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to help him with that, get him on his leash. But he got him situated and took him for a walk.
Okay. Did you hear around 7 or 8?
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure, you know.
Not sure who it was exactly?
Who it was exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
It could have been any of the roommates.
But you didn't see her leave Monday morning. Were you still in bed or still in your room?
I was still asleep, yeah.
Gotcha. What time does she normally leave for school?
We usually leave around... 8:50 at the latest.
Okay. What time does she have to be to school by?
9:28 is when school starts.
Gotcha. And so I think you had said the previous night, you and Stefan had agreed that he was going to get and take her in the morning? Okay.
and they were going to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast, but she changed her mind last minute and did not want McDonald's.
Okay, when'd you find that out?
When did I find that out? When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning, I had stepped out to go get blood work done, and he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands, and that I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said no, she changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times, but she did not want McDonald's anymore.
At what time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
I'm going to say around 9:30.
Had Stefan returned at all?
No.
So you were there from, just so I have my times kind of right, so you woke up around 7 or 8. You saw Stefan, because you helped him with the dog, because he was letting the dog out, right?
Yeah.
And then did you go back to sleep, or were you just kind of in the room?
I laid back down and went back to sleep.
Okay. And then, do you remember what time you woke up after that?
I believe I set my alarm for 9 a.m.
Gotcha. So, it would have been around 9 a.m. that you woke up. And in that time, you didn't see Stefan return at all? Okay. You left around 9:30, and then Stefan called you around 10 to say he got home?
Yeah.
Cool. Got it. Okay. Did he say anything else aside from she didn't want to go to McDonald's?
About her, no. About his morning, yes. He had tried going to the vape shop when it opened right after he dropped her off from school, and waited, but they never opened on time, so he came back, hung out a little bit, and he came home around 10, and then went back out eventually to the vape store to go get some vape stuff.
So he left after 10. What time did you get back home for the day?
Check something. I want to check what time my blood work appointment is at. I'll give you more of an accurate time.
Yeah.
Okay, so my appointment was at 10:15, and it took them 45 minutes to see me, so I didn't get home until 11:15, 11:30.
And was Stefan back at that point in time?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And then what did the day look like after that? That's fine.
So I did my blood work, then I came back, and then I just waited. I waited for the rest of the day until 2:30 to leave. Well, I wait in the car line, so I'm first in line to pick her up.
Yeah, that car line can be vicious. So you left approximately 2:30.
Yeah.
And pickups around 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you got there at 4, then what happened?
I waited in the car line for about 10 minutes, and she never came out. So I thought, maybe I missed her. I couldn't remember if I told her I was picking her up from school that day or if she had to walk to the office.
Okay.
So I went to the office to see if she made it. She never did.
People have picked up on her language, the finality of her language. She says Maddie never made it. She says that quite a bit. She's going to try and excuse away Stearns reportedly dropping Maddie off near the school. But I don't know why, you know, Maddie didn't go to school. She never made it. She never made it. You know, we're going to hear a lot of finalities. The last thing she was wearing. Are you going to take her phone away forever? All these very final things. Whereas a mom who, of course, hope should spring eternal when you're talking about your 13-year-old child missing, you wouldn't necessarily use such finality of language. We're going to talk about all these red flags. The third interview we'll go over is an interview with Jennifer Soto. It's still Tuesday, February 27th. It's 8:04 p.m. Now, it's really short, but it's telling. When we get into the start of that interview, you will hear her first words captured on audio. This is the male officer's audio.
Are you guys talking to Stefan out here?
Are you guys talking to Stefan out here? She is very concerned about where Stefan is. There's certain things, certain questions she asks where I feel like she's trying to be around Stefan more. Just like in the first body cam video, her and Stefan right there together, you know, and the cops, these brilliant cops are like, look, let's divide and conquer. We got to get these two away from each other. I'm just going to say it how I feel. I feel like Jennifer has a lot of guilty knowledge. I'm not saying she killed Maddie. I'm not saying, you know, she was there during the abuse or whatever, but I think she knows a lot more than she lets on. The more I dive into these interviews, the more I believe Jennifer knows a lot more than what she's putting on in these interviews. That third interview is when the male cop is going to present Jennifer with some kind of grainy photo. Jennifer's quick to say, yeah, that could be Maddie. So it's some grainy photo. Jennifer's always the one who brought up the fact that Maddie may have been sighted on the Peace Church camera where Stearns lied and said he dropped her off that Monday morning. I don't know who was the first one to come up with that. I mean, we saw the body cam videos. We saw the officer going there. We saw them looking like thinking, oh yeah, that's her, that's her. And I feel like Jennifer jumped on the bandwagon. That's her, that's Maddie. She sat there for 10 minutes. I mean, this made it to the news through no fault of Jennifer's sister, but Jennifer's sister, I believe Stephanie, was the one who talked to the news and said, you know, yeah, I believe there was a sighting of her on this camera. In that third interview, Jennifer's going to be quick to say, oh yeah, that could be Maddie. I mean, Jennifer admits the photo's quality is horrible, but she's really quick to say, oh yeah, that green top could be her. And the cop is asking her, you think that's Stefan's car? Jennifer was less sure, but everything was kind of like, oh yeah, that could be her. That's probably her. It just seemed more definitive in Jennifer's mind. Yeah, she was there. Jennifer brought it up to the news. She was caught on camera. Maddie sat there for a while. And those first Spanish language interviews where Jennifer just goes, and he drove off. He drove off. Also in this interview, the third one, she talks about a place where she went hiking with Maddie and her sister that's only 5 miles away from where Maddie's body was found, but she's going to be quick to tell the cop, no, Stefan was not with us when we went hiking. It was just me and Maddie and my sister and some other kids, it sounds like she was saying. The fourth interview, that's that impromptu interview where the cop made quick contact with both Stefan and Jennifer. They were outside together in their little huddle. Tuesday, February 27th, same day. This is nearly 9 p.m. So this is a long day. And I hope more cops activated their body cam as they interacted with Jen and Stefan. But this is that short video where Jen is saying, Sunday, the last day we had her, and she does an involuntary shake. She's trying to correct herself and say, well, Sunday was her birthday party. In all fairness, I try and look at this from all sides. Jennifer may have meant Sunday was the last full day we had Maddie. You know, like the last full day. Basically, we had possession of her, or we had eyes on her, or we knew where she was the last full day. It's just weird terminology to me. Sunday, the last day we had her, when supposedly she was seen or heard by Jennifer that Monday morning. And
I was just thinking on Sunday, the last day we had her. Yeah.
It makes me think Jen knew what went down on Sunday night or whenever this happened, whatever happened to Maddie. A lot of finalities to Jen's words. The fifth interview. Detective Myra Tagler, that superstar, she interviews Jennifer. Now it's getting late into the night. Now this is crunch time. Imagine Monday, supposedly, according to Jen and Stearns' story, they dropped her off at the school, nearby the school. We know that's a lie, but I'm just saying their timeline. She's not seen since Monday morning, and it is now Tuesday night. So we're talking a good 48 hours almost. This is 11:32 p.m. This is going to be the longest interview thus far of Jennifer that we have. Maybe another one exists, they'll find and drop it in some drives. But it's about 35 minutes long. Mostly it's Myra Tagler, but Detective Acosta chimes in. He's questioning Jennifer too. Tagler, I like her because she's more direct and to the point. And yeah, she's just gets in there. I like that she can barely hide her contempt for Stefan. I get it. I probably wouldn't be this kind of cop if I can't imagine myself as a detective, but if I ever would be, I'd be more like the Tammy Lee type in the Chris Watts case. Well, she's CBI agent, but you know, she's killing him with kindness, rubbing his back, but she got a confession out of him, catching more flies with honey than vinegar. I feel like that would be my MO. I respect Detective Tagler because she's like, look, you can tell, she's like, look, dude, I know you're lying. She doesn't let Stearns bumble and stumble along like, oh, I don't know how I did this factory reset and blah, 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 and what the F, excuse my language. And, you know, I like that she cut him off sometimes because he is insufferable and she was probably tired. She's probably been there all day. She talks about being there all day. She knows, look, we need to find this little girl. And I like her no-nonsense attitude. So Jen will say, just kidding, in this 5th interview. She says that quite a bit. More details about Stearns, the whole shebang. Now, the 6th interview. This partially is the most telling in some ways. Detective Hunt is interviewing Jennifer Soto, again, divide and conquer, transportation to Central Operations on Wednesday, February 28th. The family wanted a ride to the press conference. Jennifer kept calling it the press release. But the Orange County Sheriff's Office held a press conference Wednesday. It was streamed live. I don't know what time, I'd have to check. It was February 28th. But we get to hear Jennifer a little more off the cuff, just kind of giggling with this male cop. He's going to talk about his kind of hoopty type of car, and she's going to giggle. She's going to talk about Stearns working for a couple of Disney World attractions before he resigned. Now, I had to check myself. This is not the presser where Sheriff John Mina said that Maddie is likely dead. That presser was given on Friday, March 1st. Now, what's important about that is because on March 1st, Friday, Sheriff Mina said in this presser that the previous night, which would have been Thursday, February 29th, he says they told Maddie's mother Thursday that they haven't found Maddie, but that she's most likely dead.
I wish we were here to tell you that we have found Madeline, but we have not found her. Last night, detectives from the Kissimmee Police Department met with Madeline's mother, and they had to tell her the very devastating news that although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead.
So Jennifer did not hear that news officially from officials until Thursday. So even after Stearns was arrested on Wednesday, and Jen, according to Stearns' father, somewhere in there was like, you better get him a lawyer and all that stuff. I don't know when that happened. But by that Thursday, she found out from cops Maddie's likely not alive. Now, it's important because she wasn't told that news until Thursday night, according to Sheriff John Mina. So all these interviews we're about to hear today, Jennifer has not been told that authorities believe her daughter is dead. So to me, she should still have hope, a measure of hope that Maddie's still alive. But the transport video, notably, you'll hear her, it's just audio. I don't know when they captured her on video, but the transport audio features Jennifer, notably several times, referring to Maddie in the past tense. And even though we're going to hear a lot of chopping because Maddie's name is missing, I was able to pick up, she really did refer to her daughter several times in the past tense, and she tries to catch herself. This is the interview audio where we'll hear Jennifer referring to Maddie as Stefan's buddy. That was his partner. That's one of the times she's like, was. So let's dig all into these as quickly as possible and as deeply as we can go. Jennifer Soto, Tuesday, February 27th, 11:16 a.m. This is that 30-minute interview. Jennifer exhales a lot. She's talking about the last time she saw Maddie was 11 p.m. Then she starts talking about, we were actually going to sleep in the same bed. Now, this is probably the first time the cops heard the notion that, wait a minute, you sent your daughter and your boyfriend off to a different room upstairs in your condo to sleep because you remember that Monday night info was quick. I mean, I don't know what they did when they went to Jennifer and Stearns' condo Monday night. They cut off a lot of that video. There's 45 minutes missing, even the audio. I don't know if they'll ever give us that, but they cut off quite a bit there when they were just looking for, you know, it's like just the facts, ma'am. Do you have any of her clothes? The dogs can smell them. And so I don't know if they did any deep diving interview that night. Maybe they did Monday night. Maybe we'll get it.
Careful.
Hey, man. I just want to verify the clothing.
Oh. Stop.
But Tuesday may have been the first time they heard, wait, the events of Sunday night. Like, you sent your daughter off to go sleep with your boyfriend? And she's like, I sent them upstairs. I got a new job. She's offering few details, but she makes for damn sure that they pronounce Stefan's name correctly. She's correcting them on her boyfriend's name, but just listen to the tone of Jennifer in this video. I never want to be in her position. I can't ever imagine any mother, any father missing their 13-year-old child. I feel like you would be beside yourself, and maybe you would have to be medicated just to calm down. But Jennifer, to me, she sounds more like she's trying to pass a test instead of trying to offer up as much information as possible, just willingly. Last time I saw her, okay, it was Sunday night. Heard her, she's gonna pretend like she heard Maddie Monday morning. And she's gonna mix it in with, oh, I don't really know if it was Maddie or my roommates. Instead of just, I don't know, I feel like some desperate mom ready to find her daughter would just be rambling towards the cops. And of course, not every person acts the same way, but she'd be acting more urgent than Jennifer would be, perhaps.
I drove around a little bit.
Okay.
I drove around a little bit, looking for her. I went back to the school. The school was closed at this point. I wanted to speak to somebody at the office to see if anybody could tell me if she had been there. I think at this point I had called, before I went to the school, I actually called her best friend and I said, hey, with you, I can't find her. She didn't walk to the office and she wasn't at school when I went to pick her up. She said she never made it. She's it's her first or second period. And I'm like, what do you mean? I dropped her off. We dropped her off close to school. And she said she didn't make it to first or second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends. She did. She got back to me, said none of them saw her today. I emailed one of her teachers. Her teacher texted me her attendance for the whole day and told me she wasn't in school at all. That's when I knew something was wrong, and I freaked out.
Okay. Is it typical to walk to after school?
If I'm working, yes.
And where I mean, in relation to the school, like, is it a close walk, long walk?
It's a very close walk.
Okay. So typically in the morning, if, or I guess before Stefan moved, did he live with y'all? So it's typical of him to be able to get her ready in the mornings and drop her to school. Do y'all tend to split that responsibility, or what does that look like?
Typically, I do it.
Okay.
This morning, because of my work schedule, because I've been so exhausted, I asked him to take over and do it, and he said he would.
Okay. Has he done it before, though? Like, is he familiar with how to drop her off? And
I'm gonna say he's done it once or twice before. I'm not too sure.
Okay. In the time since he's been back, well, not this time because he's only come back over the weekend, but in the other times, he's done it maybe once or twice.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Is there any reason that he drops her off, or he dropped her off a block away instead of dropping her off to the school?
Because she asked. Because she is embarrassed of his car.
Really? When did she express that?
Multiple times when we've been like, okay, I think Stefan might take you to school or he might pick you up. She goes, can he pick me up far away? Can he leave me here? Like, I don't want to be seen. I'm just like,
what car does he drive? I'm curious.
it's that Buick.
Oh, okay.
But to her, that's an old hoopty car.
Fancy taste. I get it. Can you remember anything about Sunday or Saturday or this weekend where she may have said that she was wanting to hang out with friends or something she was wanting to do or anything?
On Sunday, she actually had a party and she had some friends come over. So she hasn't expressed that she wanted. She actually got to spend time with friends and family. She had a great Sunday. She came back with a lot of presents. She was super happy.
Okay. So, no arguments at home recently or anything?
No, nothing like that.
She doesn't remember if Stearns arrived Saturday or Sunday morning. She's talking about noises she heard in the kitchen. The cop is just trying to get the timeline right. And I get it. It would be difficult to try and maybe remember what you did yesterday, and you'd have to reference your phone or your schedule or your, Life 360 movements or whatever. I understand that part. It's just not what I'm hearing from Jen. The only time she offers up information in one of these interviews is when she's like, oh, do you want the name of the vape shop that Stefan went to? You want the name of the vape shop where he went? They go through this whole ruse about leaving phones, this and that. Jennifer's blood work appointment. She referenced her phone to give the cops a more accurate time. I appreciate she did that. She talks about leaving home really early at 2:30 just so she could pick up Maddie by 4 so she could be the first in line. And this is when she says she's talking to Maddie's best friend when Jennifer can't find Maddie outside the school or what have you. She's not coming out. This is when she goes into her, she never made it. She's putting all these words in people's mouths. Maybe they did say it, but Jennifer says it a lot. Jen allegedly called Maddie's best friend, and Maddie's best friend was like, she never made it. She never made it. Like, she never made it here. I think Jennifer knows more about that. She never made it. And then she goes into her rehearsed, what do you mean? I dropped her off. We dropped her off. Why does she have such a hard time saying just, Stefan dropped her off at school. He told me he dropped her off here. Where is she? She's not talking like that. She's like, I dropped her off. Oh, we dropped her off. Where the cop is clarifying her. The cop in one point is saying, okay, so Stefan dropped her off. He's being a lot more clear than Jennifer is. So she's going on and talking about splitting the responsibility, Maddie being embarrassed of Stefan's car. I don't know if that was true or not. Maybe Maddie was, but maybe it was a tactic of Maddie to say, no, I don't want him near me. And maybe she might have said, oh, I don't like his car. And this is when I don't like that Jennifer laughs, because the cop is like, oh, did Maddie express that to you? How did Maddie express that to you, that, his car was a hoopty she didn't want to ride in? And Jennifer laughs multiple times. It's just not a laughing moment. I'm not saying you can't have any moments of levity during a tragedy, but it's very strange affect for a mom missing her daughter almost 48 hours. So to her, that's an old hoopty car. She goes on talking about, they're trying to figure out where could Maddie be. And Jennifer says, oh, she had a great Sunday. I found that interesting. What was her Saturday like? Why isn't Jennifer mentioning anything about why Maddie was freaking out? And the cop is trying to say, is there no arguments at home? Nothing like that. Where would she go? And Jennifer won't mention whatever happened Saturday, even if it didn't involve her. But Jennifer's trying to say, no, nothing like that. Maybe there was something a few weeks ago. I don't even remember what it was related to. But, you know, Maddie likes to hang out at the lake behind the condos. Maybe she'd sit there, but, you know, I'd go check on her often. So Jennifer is trying to make herself, bigging herself up as she's this great mom who checks on her daughter if she's out by the lake.
Has she ever, in the totality of, I guess, everything, as long as she's been, ever gone off to spend time by herself, or gone to hang out at a park by herself, or something to kind of clear her own head?
So there's a lake right behind this building. She'll sometimes sit at the dock or by the lake, but I check on her often.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, if she, I don't know if something at school upset her, something here upset her. Not that it would be anyone's fault, but if there's somewhere that she may go for, like, you know, peace of mind.
Yeah, it would be the lake right behind the house.
Does she do any extracurriculars?
No.
Got it. Now, your roommates, I know you told me their names earlier, but can you give them to me again? I didn't write them down.
Sure. Angelica. And then Nigro, Nigro.
Uh-huh.
And then Nathalie, which is Nathali. Rosero.
Rosero. Okay. Do you have their phone numbers by chance? Yeah. If they're not here. Are you okay? Do you have to use the bathroom?
No, I'm just anxious.
Oh, okay.
I've got anxiety. Let me see. Where is... Okay, Angelica, she primarily speaks Spanish, so you probably need a Spanish speaker.
Okay. And then Nathalie. Alright. When's the last time you got in any kind of trouble at home?
I'm gonna say a few weeks ago.
What was that for?
I don't think... if she gets a yelling, or if she gets in trouble for anything, it's for her disorganization and messiness. How she leaves laundry on the floor, her room's a mess, she keeps her space very disorganized. So I kind of get on top of her. Do I remember the actual argument? No. When I went through her text messages back on February 2nd or 3rd, she had expressed to a friend that, you know, I was crazy. I was acting, you know, being nuts.
Almost stuff to say.
Yeah, apparently I don't remember this in this conversation. I remember saying this once, but not in February. But she had said, you know, if she continues to behave this way or not listen, you know, when she turns 18, I'm not going to want to live with her.
Okay.
Or also, I would ship her off to her dad's.
Oh.
But I never...
Where does her dad live?
Houston, Texas.
Okay. Has she ever expressed wanting to go back and live with them?
No.
How often does she see him or talk to him at all?
Talks to him once in a while.
Via phone or probably?
Yeah, via phone, yeah.
Okay.
Text message or Instagram, they'll message each other. But I talked to him last night, and she's like, just so you're aware, she hasn't said anything about making plans to come over here or see me or come visit me, so he doesn't have any information on where she might be.
Okay.
He's actually willing to come over here, too, if we need him to.
Okay. But she's never made any plans, I guess, to go see him.
No.
What's her dad's name? Do you know his phone number?
So I think it's this one. It's
And he lives in Texas.
in Houston, yeah.
How long has he lived? Or how long?
He's lived. He was in the military. Way, either it's Kansas or.
Oh, so he's never had any like custody or anything with her?
Nothing.
Okay. And has she ever formed a relationship with him where they bonded and talk or anything that like she? I guess I would try to rule out the possibility that she would be trying to go to Texas and see him or meet up with him or.
They're as close as they can be with how limited contact he does have with her. He texts her once in a blue, right? Not as consistent as I would like him to, but I don't think she's making her moves to go.
Yeah.
She's left her debit card here. All of her money's here. Her cell phone's here.
Is it typical of her to leave her cell phone? Does she normally have it?
She's got ADHD. She's very forgetful. This happens often.
Oh, so she frequently forgets her things?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as her mental diagnosis, she's diagnosed with ADHD. How long has she had ADHD?
Since she was like 5, 6. They also diagnosed her at the same time with autism. So she's had an autism diagnosis for a few years now. I've reassessed her recently. They told me she had some autistic traits, but they weren't sure if she was autistic.
So I mean, do you ever notice her mental capacity impacting her ability to, I guess, be around other kids or function normally?
I would say sometimes, because she acts... I'm not sure. Sometimes she'll make some decisions that I'm just like, where did that come from? Like,
I mean, is that like, would that be a result of a mental disability, or would that be like a result of her being... I mean, does she... I guess like basic questions I always kind of ask her, can she feed herself without assistance? Does she shower and bathe without assistance? I mean, she has a phone so she can text and talk to people. She has friends at school. Gotcha. And has she ever complained about school?
Not complained exactly. I know it's tough on her. She's given a lot of work. She's always behind on work.
Okay. Got it. And I think the deputies already last night kind of went through her social media a little bit, but if you're okay with it, I'd actually like to take her phone so that I can see if I can get anything else from it. You know, typically me being able to go through it and go through text and social media will help me sort of establish a pattern of where people go and whatnot. If that's something you'd let me do.
Sure. Will you take her phone away forever, or just for right now?
Just for as long as I need it to actually go through it. So I'll give it back to you as soon as I'm done. As soon as we find her, I'll give it back to her, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's just about all the questions I have at the moment. You know her better than I do. I guess my last thing would be like, what do you think based off of everything that we've talked about and everything that you've learned so far? Is anything sticking out to you?
No, based off of everything, me knowing her and knowing how she is and how tight-knit we are, like, I don't think she would run away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was taken, like, on that short walk from where she was dropped off to the school. It was early in the morning. I'm not sure how many cars were around.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was dropped off somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45 in the morning, which is earlier than we normally take her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I want to say, I think from what I understood, Orange County got footage of someone by the church in a description of what she was wearing early that morning, just hanging out in the parking lot, and then she got up and left.
Yeah, so the video, they wrote it here, but there was a video of essentially what looks like her at around 8:45, just about that time, walking into that church parking lot that's right near where she got dropped off by Stefan, and it looks like she sits there for about 15 minutes or so and then walks away. So
I'm wondering if it's typical for her to wait at that parking lot too for my stepdad to pick her up from school, so it's not abnormal for her to hang out there.
In that parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of any reason why she might have chosen yesterday morning to wait there? I mean, obviously, your stepdad's not picking her up in the morning. But
I wonder if she knew, like, if she had an idea she was super early, so she was just trying to kill time a little bit. But I don't know why she didn't go directly to the school. Like,
yeah.
She should have.
Okay.
I know when Stefan dropped her off, he said that he saw her rummaging through her phone as he drove away, like deeply looking into her backpack. Her backpack.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was looking for her phone and realized she didn't have it with her at that time.
Got it.
But
okay. Does she have any kind of boyfriend or significant other at school that she's ever talked about or expressed?
No boyfriend. She did recently tell Stefan that she had a crush on a boy.
Oh, okay.
And we saw messages between them, and nothing seemed weird. But you can look through that as well. His name is
I assume another middle school boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, that is all the questions I have for you right now. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I'll just get one more quick thing from you. 11:44 hours.
For a missing girl. She's been missing since yesterday. I'm wondering, do you guys know anything about it? As well as, do you guys have a camera that points into the hallway or outside?
No. Well, I just know that, like, she has a boyfriend that's beside her.
She has a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Do you know the boyfriend's name?
No.
No.
Well, my friends told me that's all I know.
That's all you know. Okay. Do they go out anywhere with her boyfriend? Like, is there a specific place they go to?
I just like heard from my friends. I don't know her.
Okay. Do you know? Does any of your friends know her boyfriend?
I have to ask her.
You have to ask. With your mom's permission, do you have a phone at all? Do you have a phone? Can you ask your mom's permission if you can give me your phone number? That way I can give it to detectives if they can try to reach out to you to see if maybe we get a name for that boyfriend.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
So the cop is just trying to figure out, okay, did anything upset her? Anything? Nope. So Jennifer must be acting strange, and that's so much why I wish we had the visuals. I bet you Jennifer was like shaking. She was probably shaking because the cop is like, are you okay? He's like, do you have to use the bathroom? And Jennifer's like, no, I'm just anxious. I've got anxiety. So maybe she was doing her leg shaking, or, you know, she was like doing something that made the cop think, like, what's wrong with this woman? Beyond her daughter missing, maybe he picked up on it's not that type of upset. It's something else here. So Jennifer's just like, I'm gonna say her modifying statement. Maybe it's her stalling technique, and maybe it's not. Jennifer is just claiming to help the cop, I guess, pretending to help him figure out where Maddie could be. And Jennifer says she looked at Maddie's text messages, and Maddie says at one point, Jennifer's saying, look, if you continue to act this way, when she turns 18, I'm not gonna wanna live with her, or we'll ship her off to her dad. That's interesting the way she phrased it. She didn't say, well, Maddie was texting, oh, my mom's gonna kick me out when I turn 18 if I don't shape up or ship out. Jennifer kind of changed it into, when she turns 18, I'm not gonna wanna live with her. And Maddie's dad, her biological dad, texts her once in a blue rain, it sounds like Jennifer said, instead of once in a blue moon. And she has the nerve to say, oh, her dad doesn't contact her as often as I would like. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe a whole different ball of wax, but look what happened to Maddie when she was in Jennifer's care. You know, making it seem like the bio dad is the one who's the issue. I don't know. This is when Jen asks, oh, are you going to take Maddie's phone away forever? That's more finality. Now this woman, this is Tuesday, her daughter's been missing since the day before. The cops, of course, want her phone. It's like, oh, you're going to take it away forever? Like all this finality. And the cop even has to say, well, as soon as we find her, you know, he has more hope, or he's trying to display more hope than Jennifer is. He says, we'll give it back to her, hopefully. So the detective has more hope than Jennifer. This is when she sounds like she's getting upset, or at least putting on the affect of getting upset. She's like talking about how tight-knit her and Maddie are. I don't think she would run away, but she's putting her line. This sounds like a line to me. I think she was taken during that short walk to school. It's the same rehearsed line that Stefan Stearns has said. Oh, I blame myself. I dropped her off earlier than usual. I think she was dropped off, Jen says, you know, avoiding saying who dropped her off. I'm really paying attention to how she's phrasing things. The detective says right there, dropped off by Stefan. He's more resolute, distinctive, and specific. And Jen, again, I don't know why she didn't go directly to school. She should have. Maybe she was trying to kill time. So there's Jen saying the kill time, just like Stefan has mentioned, kill time. 86 did. All these different weird things to say. So that was it. That interview lasted about 30 minutes. Next, there was an interview that same day, Tuesday, February 27th. This time it's 8:04 p.m. Before it was 11:16 a.m. Now we're getting down into 8:04 p.m. Jen's first words picked up by the cops' audio are you guys talking to Stefan out here? So she's obviously outside, maybe her condo. She keeps wanting to stay near him. This is when the cop is asking her, look at this grainy photo. You know, he's saying he downloaded it from the church's computer, so of course it gets more degraded and it's not a great video. But what about, is this a green jacket? Maybe black shorts? And Jennifer's like, oh yeah, I see the green. Could it be clothes that Maddie owns? Jennifer's pretty quick to say yes. I think she's quick to go down this rabbit trail of, yeah, that's her. She's where, you know, Stefan said he dropped her off. Dark hair. Oh, well, dirty blonde. Yeah, could be, could possibly be. Could be Stefan's car from the side. It could be a Cadillac. Jen is quick to jump on that. Yeah, that could be it. That's it. Who knows where she went from there?
Are you guys talking to Stefan out here?
Yeah, they're right out there. They just wanted to ask him a couple things, but I figured I'd just ask you this at the same time for the sake of time. Do you recognize this vehicle at all? I wanted to see if I could... So I know it's pretty grainy. It's this one right here. That one's tough, but... Does that look familiar at all?
No.
You wouldn't know that anywhere?
I don't know that part.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is it's hard to show you on my phone because the quality of the video just kind of gets worse when I've downloaded it from the church's computer, and the quality just gets kind of worse. Can you make out, like, the shape of that being black shorts and that being possibly a green jacket?
I see the green.
Would that, I mean, I know it's very difficult to recognize, but would that be something, some clothes that she owns, or
yes.
Would the quality be too bad for you to be able to tell based on that?
I mean, the quality's terrible.
Yeah.
The color scheme.
Would that be akin to something that she owns?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And the hair looks a little dark in the from here.
Dirty blonde. It could pass for dirty blonde.
That could possibly be her. Okay. Is that? I can't tell just from looking at it, but is that Stefan's car? It looks a little darker from there, but I almost can't tell, like, if it's a Toyota or looks a little different.
From the front looks different. That looks like a Toyota from the front.
From the front it looks different, right?
And then from the side, it could be.
It's got a little Cadillac. I mean, yeah, the grill is kind of the same a little bit. The headlights look a bit the same. Okay, cool. No, I just wanted to see if you kind of were able to help me with that. So this whole living in the woods thing, I have people like tromping through the woods right now on horses and ATVs and all sort of things, but has she ever mentioned that before?
Just in that text that I saw.
Just that's the only time you've ever heard of it? Is she outdoorsy at all? Does she like camping?
We used to go hiking.
Okay.
But we haven't done that in a while.
Okay. Where did you go? Was it around here?
Where would we go? We'd go hiking in like St. Cloud. Lake Lizzie Preserve is what it's called.
Oh yeah, well that's not too far.
It's about 35 minutes away.
Yeah, okay.
On 182. Lake Lizzie Preserve. We've also walked Shingle Creek before, but we haven't done that in a very long while.
Got it.
But no, I know, the thing is, I started talking to her about World War III. I was talking about, I'm like, hey, this is going on in Palestine and Israel right now.
Oh, so you're talking to her about the wars.
I was telling her, I was talking to her about just what's happening politically, and I'm like, you know, I don't know what that means for us, but we'll see what happens. But I've talked to her about World War III, so that's what I'm just saying.
How long ago was that? I mean, is that something that might have impacted her?
Yeah, I feel like that's why when I read that conversation, I'm like, oh, that's directly related to me talking to her about what's happening in Israel, Palestine, and the potential World War III that might happen from that.
Okay.
And that's why she said she wanted to go live in the woods.
Okay, got it. All right. No, just wanted to figure out where that might have come from. Maybe help me see if she just wanted to be in the outdoors.
Definitely, the World War III conversation, that's definitely me.
Okay.
That was me.
It's fine. I mean, that's fine. So one thing that I think I may have misheard you say earlier, but I want to make sure that I have it absolutely clear, is on Sunday night y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stefan was because you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job and I haven't been sleeping well. I take psychiatric meds every night for my bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
they don't work.
They don't work. Gotcha. So I was just like, hey, I really need these meds, because I forgot them the night before. I forgot them, I think, Saturday night. So Sunday I was not myself. So I asked, I'm like, hey, I need to be medicated. I need to sleep. Can you take care of the morning duties so I can go and sleep?
Gotcha. All right. No, I just wanted to make sure I understood you right, because I was like, did you have work in the morning? Or I didn't write that down, and I wanted to make sure I heard you okay. Are there any cameras in the neighborhood that you know of? Does anyone have any Ring cameras? Do you have any security cameras out front?
I'm gonna say there are cameras in the front. There are cameras in the back gate as well.
Okay.
I know one neighbor around here has a Ring camera, but I didn't want anything like that.
Okay.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
And if you don't mind, just try to keep people out of because I have a canine that's coming. If you don't mind, they're going to try to run another track from the church and from here.
Okay.
To see if we can maybe just try it again. You know, last night it didn't work out because the dog lost interest and they weren't able to continue. But I figured, you know, it's worth another try. The dogs are pretty good, so just try to keep them out of her room. We're probably going to use like a... Does she have dirty laundry or like a hamper?
Her most recent dirty laundry is on my bathroom floor, and we've walked around it. We haven't touched it.
Okay, just keep people off of it.
Yeah.
Just let and as much as you can, try to avoid crowding the front door for the dog.
Yeah.
So that they know where to go from. Okay.
Just let me know when they're coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. They're gonna call me when they're on the way. But just as much as you can, try to keep the scent pretty fresh. There you go. Cool. All right. And another thing I just wanted to confirm, because I know the last night was a long night, but you said you said when you woke up around 9, you left your house at 9:30 for your doctor's appointment, and Stefan hadn't come home yet, and then he called you at 10. You were
like 10:15, yeah.
10:15-ish to have the conversation. McDonald's and
she didn't want McDonald's, so he came home. I think he had accidentally left his phone at home.
Yeah.
So he was just letting me know, because I had called him multiple times. So he was just returning my call, going, "I'm so sorry, I left the phone at home. I went to the vape store. I waited there for a little bit. Nothing. Nobody was there. He came back home for a little bit and then went back out to the vape store."
And then what time did you get home again? Was it around 11?
Let me see. going to say around 11:15.
Because I think if I heard you right the first time, you got home at 11 and you and Stefan were both here, and then he left to go to the vape store again.
I did see him, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I had that, because, like I said, sometimes you forget to write things down, and I don't want to misremember. But okay, that's all I have for you right now. We're still looking. I mean, that's unfortunately the best update I can give you. Is we're all out and we're everywhere, asking people and looking. And I know your family's also doing the same. So, if you get anything new like that thing you sent me just a little bit ago that I can look into, just keep on sending them to me. Okay?
Yeah. Were any of those helpful about the vehicles?
There's something for me to look into, to look for license plate readers and stuff. As of right now, I haven't been able to find anything else or confirm it, but I mean, it's still helpful for me to, in case something else comes across in the future. So, just, yeah, if you receive anything else, let me know. But I mean, do know that, obviously, just like that kid pranked you earlier, because it's so public, you're going to have kids doing that. So, don't be too scared by it if someone does that again. Okay? All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'll let you know when they get here.
She's talking about her psych meds. She's talking about really needing her meds. She forgot them Saturday night, so Sunday she was not herself, and she allegedly told Stefan, take care of the morning duties. And the cop is again confirming the arrangements. I like the interview room. I was listening to it last night. They were analyzing it. And this cop and saying he's brilliant. He's like a Columbo, and one more thing, and one more thing. And I think they even brought up Angie Dickinson, Sergeant Pepper, A Blast from the Past. All these like TV cops that make you think of, okay, how did they do it? So this cop is like, wait a minute, let me see, did you say Sunday night? Did you tell me you had to work on Monday and that's why you needed good sleep? Now, Jennifer never directly answers. I couldn't find if she had to work on Monday. And he's saying, or you just started a new job? So there was this interview where Jennifer was presented with a still photograph from the video that was captured by the church at 13502 Town Loop Boulevard, and seeing, okay, what does she recognize? And then he's also asking her, okay, did you guys used to go hiking in the St. Cloud area? This is where Jennifer says, yeah, Maddie and I and my sister and some other kids hiked at this Lake Lizzie Preserve. However, this is where she's saying, no, Maddie didn't talk about living in the woods, unless it was under the context of World War III happening if all this political stuff broke out. But to me, it was kind of fascinating that the Lake Lizzie Conservation Area trailhead is only about a 7-minute drive away from that Hickory Tree Road location in St. Cloud where Maddie's body was found. So I don't know if it's a coincidence. That's where Jen said they hiked previously. Part of me wonders, okay, Stefan is not from that area. Jennifer would probably know it a little bit more. Jen's not originally from there, but she's lived there longer, I believe. So would they have talked about places to place Maddie? Maybe. Jen is blaming herself, saying that World War III conversation was definitely me. And we don't know the context if that's true or not. Maddie was probably saying, look, I'd rather live in the woods than live in this house. I want to go build a house in the woods. Jennifer's trying to make it seem like it was in the context of World War III. No, I don't know. Who thinks that way? If you're worried about World War III, you'd worry about, oh, I built a bunker for my family. No, it sounds like Maddie was probably trying to get away, probably trying to escape somewhere. You know that part in the Bible that says it's like better to live on the roof of a home, you know, with the rain dripping on you than live with a cantankerous woman? That's probably what Maddie was thinking. I'd rather not live with my mom and not live with this pedo who's abusing me. I wish I could just move away. And I feel bad for her. Ooh, if only she had more resources or knew about more resources or ways to get away from them. How she must have felt as a 13-year-old or a vulnerable child, you know, where you're like, I can't get out yet. I can't make my own way. I can't escape these people. I can't make my own money yet. And somewhere in this interview, listen, Jennifer goes, hey, how are you? She says it in such a chipper tone. I don't know who she's talking to, but the cop is saying, look, can you keep people away so the dogs can track a scent? Because he's saying, look, last night the dogs were losing the scent. We saw that beautiful bloodhound. I love him. That Belgian Malinois. I really loved him. I have a Belgian Malinois. I'm partial to them. The one who was sniffing around the car and laid down in certain points at Jennifer's car. And even, was it the Belgian Malinois who sniffed Stefan's trunk of his car he drove? Or the other dog? Anyway, I love dogs. But they're like, look, lady, basically the dogs need to get a good scent. Now, of course, I'm sure a lot of family members were probably showing up at the condo. Just the way Jennifer greeted them. Hey, how are you? It was just strange. So they're talking again about Stefan was not home when she woke up again at 9 a.m. on Monday, and how Jen reportedly called him several times, and he called her back about 10-something later saying he left his phone. Jen got home from her blood appointment around 11:15 or so. Stefan was home then. Now, one thing I picked up at the end of this interview, Jennifer talks about sending this detective some information about some vehicles. And she's like, were any of them helpful? But I didn't hear her ask, have you found Maddie anywhere on any of this audio? Now, it may have been off camera or somewhere we don't have yet. I'm pretty sure I haven't heard Stearns for sure, but I haven't heard Jen say, have you found her? Have you found her? But Jennifer is talking about some information on vehicles. I hope we get it. That Jennifer allegedly sent this cop. And he's like, well, we're still investigating. And she's like, I hope they were helpful. What info was she sending him? I want to know, because I want to know if she was throwing him off the trail. Was she on purpose creating a diversion, or was she really trying to help these cops? Now let's get to Miss Tagler's long video. Pull no punches, Detective Tagler, Tuesday, February 27th. Now this is really late. 11:32 p.m. So we're moving into the hours, and you hear whiny Stefan on the beginning of this audio. You can tell him and Jennifer were together. Tagler is doing the divide and conquer, getting them away. Stefan is like, are we going to be able to go home soon? I mean, he's probably needs another nap, just like Jennifer probably does, but Detective Tagler is like, look, you know, we got to find this girl. We got to get down to brass tacks. So it's Tuesday, it's late at night. Detective Tagler had been notified of it. She's kind of like taking over now. She's with the sex crimes unit. So this shows you they started finding out stuff late or sometime Tuesday. So they're like, look, this isn't just some missing girl. This probably isn't some abducted girl like her mom and her mother's boyfriend are trying to paint the picture of, this, you know, dangerous town loop boulevard or whatever area, which people say is not like they're portraying it. It's not some high trafficking trap, you know, for kids to get abducted. That's not what we're looking at. The cops know, oh, we're looking at this mother's boyfriend and perhaps this mother too.
4-11313. Today's date is February 27th, 2024. The time is 23:32 hours. Gonna speak with Jennifer Soto. Hey, Jennifer. I haven't introduced myself. My name's Myra Tagler. I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Office. Do you mind if I talk to you? Do you mind if we talk over there by the car? That's fine.
Yeah, where? Inside the house?
In the car.
Yeah. My car?
Yeah. Oh, look at the baby. Does it lock?
No, it should be fine.
Over here.
He's going to be able to go back home soon?
I'll explain it in a second. Okay?
At this point, I'm convinced they probably know Jen is shady. They just don't have enough evidence to convict her. Like with Stearns, they found all the Google Drive stuff. They found stuff. They're going to talk about his communication with Maddie being a lot and all that. They have more hard evidence against him. Jennifer, maybe just not. So Detective Tagler is like, look, I haven't introduced myself yet. This is when she comes on the scene. Detective with the Sheriff's Office. Detective is like, can we talk over here by the car? Jennifer immediately asked, can I do it inside? So I was thinking, is she still trying to be near Stearns? Is she hoping Stearns sits in the car with her? But I'm realizing Jennifer says she just gets cold easily. It's February. It is Florida, but it is February. It does drop down in Florida. I think I saw it snow maybe once down in Tallahassee, Florida. Maybe. So it's fine. They sit in the car. Someone's like, oh, look at the baby. I can't tell if that's Jennifer or not saying that because it's not Tagler's car. She says it's not her car. So someone has a photo of a baby. It might be Jennifer that says that, which would be odd for her to say that while her daughter's missing. And is she missing the baby that Maddie used to be? But Stearns is saying something inaudible and Tagler's like, does it lock? And it's like, no, it should be fine. And that's when Stearns is like, are we going to be able to go back home soon? Tagler's like, look, I'll explain it to you later. Like, go away, dude. It's almost like Stearns was just ready to go in there and go to bed, him and Jennifer, and just conk out, as he said. All this interviewing mess, you know, getting down to brass tacks, he wasn't with it.
I have a question too before we get started. Somebody said something like somebody in here has a gun. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
That's a true statement.
Okay, where is this gun at right now?
It is upstairs in the guest bedroom.
It's not like in any of these cars out here.
No, I don't believe so. I think it's upstairs in the guest bedroom. Bedroom number 4. It's got a number 4 on it.
Tagler wants to know, look, somebody said something about there's a gun. Is that a true or false statement? That's why I like her. She's like, look, it's almost midnight here. Where's this gun? Jennifer explains it's up somewhere in the guest bedroom. And Tagler's like, it's not in any of these cars out here, is it? And Jennifer's like, no, I don't think so. Are you certain? Jennifer's pausing. Tagler's moving her purse and all that. Acosta is in there too. He's saying it's not the most comfortable. He's kind of like the good cop, I guess.
Okay, how certain are we of that?
As far as I know, the gun is inside upstairs. I haven't heard of it being in the car.
Okay. Let me just move my purse.
I could be incorrect. I'm not.
If you want to start the car and just give me 1 second.
Yeah. Let me make this. I know it's not the most comfortable. But at least you won't be cold over there.
Yeah.
So I guess it was Detective Frank whom Jennifer spoke with earlier in that day. But Tagler's like, look, we are taking over this case now. We're with Orange County, because Jennifer's like, are you with Kissimmee? She's like, no, we're with Orange County, different unit. Jennifer's like, what unit? She's curious. And Tagler's like, we're with sex crimes. And Jennifer's like, okay.
Do you have your keys on you?
Yep. Closer, just in case.
Sorry, this isn't my car. There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure if he introduced himself, but his name is Luis Acosta. Okay. We both work for Orange County. Okay. We have officially taken over the case, okay? So...
Are you guys with Kissimmee?
No, we're with Orange County. It's just a different unit.
Oh, okay. What unit are you with?
We're with sex crimes.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that would have been my reaction. Wouldn't, we're just more lay people. We know a lot about law enforcement and true crime, of course, but when it comes to your own flesh and blood, would you not have been asking a billion questions like, what the heck is sex crimes doing here? Wait a minute, did you get a lead on her? Or if Jennifer thought she was abducted, how do you know it's related to sex crimes? Or is this something you standardly do? What's going on? Even being medicated, I feel like you would ask more questions. Even if the detectives may not have answered them, you would have asked.
It's just because of her age and is why we take over. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of confusing, but we have different rules in Orange County, and depending on people's age, we sometimes take over investigation when it comes to missing persons. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah.
But Tagler's trying to make it seem like, oh, it's because of her age and all that stuff, and does it make sense? And she's like, okay.
When you talked to him earlier, I kind of got a brief synopsis of what happened. I understand you have a new job. Yeah, okay, and if I say anything that's incorrect, please correct me, okay? You have a new job, and last night you asked them to go sleep upstairs because you wanted to get rest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What time was this? Do you remember? It doesn't have to be like exact time, but like just. And then yesterday she had her, or Sunday she had her birthday party, right?
Sunday she had her birthday party.
Okay, what time was that party at?
It started at 3 o'clock.
Okay, from 3 to what time?
I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I was at work.
Oh, okay, you weren't there. But I know my sister home around 8:30. Was Stefan here at that time? I'm not sure if he was here at the time, but I think he got here a little bit after. And he was like, okay, she was already doing what she was supposed to. She had taken her nighttime meds, and she was getting ready for bed, like taking a shower. She'd take showers at night. So he's like, okay, she was already on it.
Tagler's going into Jennifer having a new job and just like, wait a minute, you asked basically Stearns and Maddie to go upstairs to sleep? And that's another biggest red flag here to me, where Jennifer is like saying she sent Maddie away from her own king-size bed, you know, a big bed for little petite Jennifer and petite Maddie, only 100 pounds, a big king-size bed. No, you going up there to sleep in some small bed with Stearns upstairs. To me, that's one of the biggest red flags. They're trying to ask her for times, and Jennifer's doing her... Tagler's like, it doesn't have to be exact. And then she's getting into the birthday party, the fact that Jennifer wasn't there. Jennifer's sister brought Maddie home around 8:30. Stefan wasn't there at the time. Jennifer's not sure, of course, if he was there at the time, but I think he got there a little bit after. Like, why did he have to arrive right after Maddie arrived? Jennifer's like, okay, Maddie's doing everything she's supposed to do. She took her nighttime meds. She was getting ready, taking a shower. She takes her showers at night. And this is the part I just hate. Maddie's 13. She doesn't need help from Stefan at 8 or 8:30 p.m. getting ready with some nighttime routine, especially since it involves a shower, especially since he's a creep who's been creeping on her since she was 8 years old. And that's why I believe the detective in one of these forthcoming interviews is going to say he's trying to get down to, okay, what is Maddie's condition? And Jennifer's not going to quite catch it. He's going to ask her, is she of the condition where she needs help? Like taking a shower and stuff like that? And Jennifer will admit later, no. So he's getting down to, wait a minute. So they're obviously sharing notes, the cops back and forth, and coming up with more questions as the interviews progress. Jennifer's like, you know, Maddie was already on it. I didn't get home to, I'm gonna say 10:30 or so, and 11, sent them to bed. Stefan did not go to the party.
I didn't get home until, I'm gonna say 10:30.
Okay.
And then at 11 I sent them to bed.
Did Stefan make it to the party?
No.
Okay. And then once you get here, you said you sent her to bed at 11. And the following morning, well, I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. You send them upstairs, right? How many bedrooms are upstairs?
3.
Okay. Where?
In bedroom number 4.
Okay. And what about Stefan?
Bedroom number 4.
Tagler's like, let me backtrack. You sent them upstairs, and Tagler's trying to figure out the layout of this condo.
Okay. Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room?
Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. But when, also a lot of times, we will sleep together in the king-size bed, all 3 of us. Or sometimes Stefan will go upstairs and our bed alone. So it just really depends on what's going on that night with our schedules and what we're doing.
Okay, where were you sleeping?
Downstairs in the king-size bed.
Okay. Is it just you 2 here, or you guys have a roommate, right?
We have 2 roommates, and one of the roommates has a son who's here like a little bit more than half the week.
So what rooms do you guys use?
The room downstairs, the master bedroom downstairs, and room number 4.
Okay. So it wasn't last night, it was the night before. Stefan slept in bedroom number 4 and you slept downstairs?
Yes.
In the master. Okay, what time did you wake up?
Stefan will be up there alone, and you know, Maddie and I will be in the bed, sleeping in the bed alone ourselves. It just depends on what's going on, and you know, with our schedules and everything. And Tagler's trying to figure out all the roommate situations, who uses what, and she does not let Jennifer run off on too many tangents, because they'll just ramble on for 5 hours, because eventually they might tell on themselves. They might give you information that's really helpful, but I also like the way Tagler does this. So basically, she's getting down to what happened Sunday night, what was the sleeping situation, what time did you wake up Monday. There's a lot of exhales and pauses out of Jennifer, and this is where I find her to be smart, cunning, perhaps evil. She's not running off at the mouth necessarily to stumble over herself. Imagine if the scenario in her mind is a lot different than what she's saying. So she needs to have time to make up a new scenario that looks innocent enough. Who knows whatever happened? You know, if it's like Stefan's mom theorizes, Jennifer came in and caught Stefan doing something to Maddie, or if something else happened, who knows what happened. But if that's what's playing in Jennifer's mind, but she's gonna have to say, well, I sent them upstairs, then I woke up around 9, just to take the time to come up with her new fictionalized scenario. If it's fictionalized, I mean, she could be speaking the truth. It could just be really weird. In the morning, Jennifer saying Stefan came into the room and was trying to put the leash on the dog. Now, maybe he was truly trying to put the leash on the dog. Part of my mind wonders, and seeing, of course, that what Gisela K picked up on in that photo where, you know, it's like the dog leash on the seat, the front passenger seat. And my mind does wonder, like, oh, did Stefan use that to hold Maddie kind of up, and maybe it just slumped her over? She had her hoodie on, perhaps, and the guy said her hair was like kind of covering her face, the security guard. Alex, that guy, in his interview, I threw it at the end of my last video, you know, getting the leash on the dog. Is that like, you know, her spilling truth? Was Maddie the dog? Was Stefan putting the leash on her? I don't know. Just speculation. This is just my mind wandering. Hopefully you guys can tell fact from when my mind goes off and thinks of possibilities.
Somewhere between, let me say somewhere between, he came into the room somewhere between 8 and 8:15. He came in to put the leash on the dog, and I got up to try to help him because my dog is kind of a nervous dog and I didn't want him to pee on the bed. So we wrangled him, put him on his leash, and he said, go back to sleep. And I said, okay. So I laid back and went back to sleep. Okay. I heard people in the kitchen. I'm not sure exactly who was in the kitchen. As far as I know, I came downstairs to get ready in her. So she's got, she's kind of got a bedroom in the living room. If you go, if you go into the apartment, you'll see there's like one of those fake walls, separating half the bedroom. She's got like a like a desk with a bedroom and a TV and a dresser. But she'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there. She always sleeps with me, and then the rare occasion upstairs. But most of the time it's with me. Okay.
So she's again talking about him struggling. We wrangled him, put his leash on him. And then, you know, Stefan's like, no, Jen, go back to sleep. And Jen said, okay. But something about that word wrangle is triggering me. So Jen is making Stefan sound like this caring prince, helping her wrangle the dog, getting the leash on the dog and saying, I'll go back to sleep. And she's like, okay. But the wrangle, I'm like, was she really wrangling with Maddie? I don't know. So she went back to sleep, and I heard people in the kitchen. I'm not sure exactly who was in the kitchen. As far as I know, Maddie came downstairs to get ready in her, oh, so she's got this is one of the few times Jennifer uses Maddie's name. Now, I know we can't tell all the times because her name is so redacted out, but we can kind of tell despite the redactions. Jennifer is explaining this horrible makeshift kind of bedroom in the living room that Maddie has, which is horrible. Stefan should not have been there at all. Maybe they were using him there, like Chris Stearns said, because he's paying that $600 a month for Stefan to rent that room, and Juan, Jennifer's father, charges her rent. But Chris had said, I didn't realize I'm paying for all of them to live. So I don't know what he meant by that. Like, was he paying the $600? And Jennifer's going to talk about in the last video here that she doesn't make a lot of money. So was it a means to an end? Is that why she let Stefan rent that room? So, okay, that money is coming in. My point is, why didn't Maddie have that guest room for herself? Now, there's one thing I understand, money issues, money problems. Jennifer, when she had Maddie and Maddie was little, of course course, a mom and daughter can share a room, growing up, struggling, you know, needing time. And even, I think that teenage boy who was there half the time split the room with his mom, perhaps. I know, you know, money can be tight, but I wish as Maddie grew older into her teenage years, developing, becoming more of a young lady, I wish Jennifer could have somehow given Maddie that guest bedroom, at least her own space, instead of some separating half a room, no privacy, semi like a desk, bedroom, TV and dresser, as you know, Jennifer describes it. Maddie hung out there, and this is when Tagler is getting down to look. Did you see Maddie on Monday morning?
Did you see her on Monday morning? Visually see her? No. Did you hear her? I heard many people in the kitchen. I'm not sure if it was my roommate or her specifically. Okay, is your roommate a male or a female? Female. Okay. They're both females. When was the last time you physically saw Wednesday, 11 o'clock? I'm sorry, Sunday, 11 o'clock. Sunday when you sent her to bed. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Visually see her? No. She's splitting hairs. Did you hear her? Oh, I heard many people in the kitchen. I'm not sure if it was my roommate or her specifically. And people are like, look, why wouldn't you know your daughter's voice? This is where it feels like Jennifer's trying to cover. And why is she covering? Because if you just are like, oh yeah, I definitely saw her Sunday night. Yeah. But you know what? Monday I was so tired and I did hear people, but I'm not sure. Like, why would it be this much pulling teeth out of her? Even in these reports, the very first report that came out, it said Jennifer saw, basically this mom saw her daughter getting ready for school 8 a.m. And I see why the detective wrote it that way, because if you watch the first body cam, and I hope they give us the other body cam from Monday night, she does infer to the police. She makes it seem like, oh yeah, we saw her this morning and we dropped her off, and no wonder cops wrote it that way in their report, because they weren't expecting her to not have seen her. They were not expecting Jennifer to not have dropped her off, because Jennifer was not clear. She just didn't say, I stayed in bed, Stefan dropped her off, I didn't even see her, I may have heard her and that's it. She wasn't clear from the beginning. So Tagler has to get down to, when was the last time you really saw your daughter? And Jennifer's like messing up, oh, Wednesday at 11. Oh no, I mean Sunday at 11. It's a mess. So Jennifer's checking when she woke up, when her alarm was paused. I do like that Jennifer references her phone for exact times, but it could be a stalling tactic again.
And then when you woke up, you said you woke up briefly because Stefan went in there. Did you go back to sleep? Yes. What time did you get up? Let me see if I actually have my alarm set. No, I don't have a specific day on there. Let me check something real quick. I'm pretty sure I woke up around 9 o'clock in the morning. And then I left at 9:30. I had an appointment. I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15. But they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15. Okay. When you got back, was Stefan here? I'm pretty sure he was, yeah. What was he doing? Just sitting in my room. At my computer desk.
And then she talks about her blood appointments and whether Stefan was there when she got back, and he was. He was just sitting in her room at her computer desk on his phone. Now, is that when Stefan accidentally did the phone reset in front of her? Because supposedly he did it in front of her, according to him. To me, it's like they're trying to alibi each other. Now, Stearns is going to talk about his other interviews with Tagler. I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I factory reset my phone. But the fact that somewhere in here that he claims he did it in front of Jennifer and was like, oh no, what, WTF or whatever, it makes me feel like they're trying to alibi each other. Like, just say I did this in front of you and I did it on accident or whatever.
On his phone? Okay. What did you guys do? We chatted for a little bit. I asked him what had happened because he had called me earlier at 10. Let me see. pretty sure he called me around 10:18.
What did he call you for?
To let me know, that they didn't go to McDonald's as planned. He had asked her multiple times if she wanted to stop at McDonald's, because that was the plan the night before. That they were going to wake up early. He was going to take her to McDonald's, do like a special McDonald's breakfast, and then drop her off at school early because she wanted to get there a little early. But on his way to school, she was very sleepy and wanted to sleep in the car. And she said she did not want to do McDonald's. She just wanted to be dropped off.
Okay.
But Jen says her and Stearns just chatted a bit. 10:18 a.m. is when Stearns called Jennifer. It's wild that time also figures prominently in the Scott Peterson case. That was the last time his wife Lacey's dog must have been spotted. I gotta finish that on Hulu, I think it is. Tagler's just like, what do he call you for? You know, after all this long rambling Jennifer will do, it's like, okay, what do he call you for? She is on it like, okay. To let me know they didn't go to McDonald's as planned. He asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's because that was the plan. It sounded like she said that was the plan the night before. And maybe she really did. Another part in there, it sounded like she said something about the night before. And to me, that doesn't make sense. If the plan was McDonald's the night before, another part I thought Jennifer said, Maddie changed her mind about McDonald's the night before. So if Sunday night she had changed her mind, but Jennifer kind of said something differently, we'll get to it. Because I'm thinking if Sunday was this plan, let's have this cool McDonald's breakfast, special McDonald's breakfast, and if by Sunday night, if Maddie had been like, no, I don't want to go to McDonald's, well then they would have slept in. You know, they wouldn't have gotten up so early. But we know that was all a lie anyway. Drop her off at school early because she wanted to get there a little early. Okay, is that another lie? And if Maddie was so sleepy in the car, she would have just slept in at home instead of, oh, let me wake up early, put on my hoodie, and go sleep in the car as Stefan drives all over God's green earth and drops me off at Peace Church so I can walk in the cold because I enjoy the cold to school. It's all a lie. But Jennifer saying in the car she was very sleepy, all this stuff. Jennifer says I had called Stefan multiple times and he didn't pick up. He had left his phone at home, by accident.
Also to let me know that he left his phone at home, because I had called him multiple times and he hadn't picked up. He had left his phone at home by accident.
So she's adding that it seems sus. She could just be parroting and believing everything Stefan told her, of course. Or she could be like, okay, I'll tell him that. I'll tell him that too, Stefan.
He had went to the vape shop, but they didn't open on time. So he had waited for quite a while in front of the vape shop. They didn't open, so he left and came back and we hung out a little bit. And then I think he left again to the vape shop to go buy what he needed.
Okay.
Do you want the name of the vape shop?
Yes. If you have it on top of your mind, I'm sure we're going to talk again soon, and we'll have more.
No, I'm just saying because that might be helpful if you want to do like surveillance or anything.
Now here we go. He'd gone to the vape shop, but they didn't open on time. Do you want the name of the vape shop? The cops included that in their report. They must have found it odd. You know, she's being so helpful with alibying him. Oh, if you want the name of the vape shop, here it is. And so you guys can go find surveillance. And that's what she literally says. And Tagler's like, oh yeah, if you have it, you know, I'll take the name of it. And Jennifer's like, no, I'm just saying that it might be helpful if you want to see like surveillance or anything. She hasn't asked them to check, proactively asked them to check other surveillance besides the, you know, Peace Church surveillance with the false sighting of Maddie. She's into that surveillance. She's bringing that up a lot. Jennifer is bringing up this vape shop surveillance where Stefan obviously stopped and waited 10 minutes just to get caught on camera. Hopefully we'll get all that too. And you can hear a screenshot or a camera shutter sound. So Tagler must have taken a screenshot or whatever, but she's offering up info as if she's pushing his alibi.
Okay, so at some point, I understand he gets like a flat tire and he's not able to go with you to pick school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you get to the school, how do you realize that she wasn't there?
So I left for I usually leave around 2:30 to pick her up. She gets out of school at 4. So I wait it takes me about 20-25 minutes to get to the school, and then I wait about an hour for her to get out. I waited the whole time, and then when the bell rang and then it was time for her to come out, she wasn't one of the first kids like she normally is. And I realized I was holding up the line because everyone behind me had children, and they needed to get out because I was the first in line. So after about, I'm going to say, I think it was like 4:10, she didn't come out and I was holding up the line, so I drove away. I said, maybe I forgot to tell her that I was picking her up that day, because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working that day. But I had assumed that she thought, she knew that I was going to go get her. So because she never came out, I left and I went. She works less than, I'm going to say it's like a 3-minute drive from the school. It's very close. She works in the Hunters Creek Villages area. I drove that way, and I drove along the path that she would walk, and I didn't see her. And then office, I asked, hey, has she gotten here yet? They said no. And I said, okay, let me wait a little bit. And I parked back again on Hunters Park Lane, I think. And I waited along that lane to see if I would see her walking. And I didn't see her walking. And it was about 4:30, 4:35. At this point, she should have. So I went back to the office. And then I was like, is she here yet? No, she hasn't gotten here. And I said, okay, hold on. Let me see. I called her best friend.
Then they talk about the flat tire, so Stearns couldn't be there with Jennifer to pick Maddie up from school. And she talks about, getting to school early. She usually waits an hour to be the first in line. Yeah, that would be cool. I know those school lines can be a bear. I never tended to go that early just so I could be first in line. Does she always want to be first? Was this Jennifer's routine? That's what I would love to know. Did she always get to pick up Maddie? Was she always there at before 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock and waited in line for a whole hour to pick her up? Or was it just this day? So she waited the whole time, but she was first in line and those parents behind her weren't having it, but she only waited 10 minutes and Maddie didn't come out. I was holding up the line, so I drove away. She never came out, so she went to her mother's office. So after 10 minutes, the girl never came out and Jennifer's like, I better drive away. Again, I think it's weird. She should have parked. If Jennifer is really on the up and up, she had no idea what Stearns had done. If she really thought Maddie was in school that day, who arrives 1 hour early and then waits 10 minutes and is like, oh, she's not here, I'm out of here, and then let me go hang around my mother's office until the school closes? And as I understand it, I believe her mother even rode with her until after the school closed. It's all intentional. If Maddie forgot her phone, supposedly Jennifer has her phone, she's waited a whole 10 minutes after the bell rang. Teenagers, they can get caught up in talking to their friends. Her instinct would have been, pull over, let me just text my mom and say, okay, I don't know if Maddie's walking to you or not, but let me know if she gets there. But in the meantime, I'm going to be in the school wandering around, asking them to page Maddie, or where is she? And wouldn't you have waited till 4:20 or 4:30? You wouldn't have waited until the school closed to come back. Anyway, that whole ruse, which I think is a ruse, that's when Jennifer's pretending like she's on it. I said, hold on, let me see. I called her best friend. I was like, hey, are you with Maddie? I don't know if I told her I was picking her up from school today. And her friend said she never came to school. She didn't come to first or second period. Here you go. What do you mean? We dropped her off close to school. She should have walked to school. And she goes, no, she never made it to any of her periods.
And I was like, hey, are you... I don't know if I told her I was picking her up from school today or to walk to the office, but I don't see her anywhere. And she goes, no, she never came to school today. She didn't come to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? We dropped her off close to school. She should have walked to school. She goes, no, she never made it to any of her periods. And I said, can you please check with your other friends in your other classes to see if she ever made it? She got back to me and said no. At this point, I started to panic because I realized something was wrong. I emailed one of her teachers, a few of her teachers actually, and one of them responded to me. He said she didn't make it to his period at all, and he checked all her other classes, and she didn't make it to school at all. that's when I knew something was truly wrong.
Again, that rehearsed, what do you mean? We dropped her off at school. She should have walked to school, putting the onus on Maddie. I don't know where she went. She should have walked to school. So Jennifer's saying, you know, she's being on top of it. Can you check with her other friends, see if she ever made it? And this point, she started to panic because Jennifer said she realized something was wrong. Notably, this same friend said Jennifer was not panicking over the phone. There was an interview with a 13-year-old from reporting officer Jeffrey Payne. He's saying on February 29th at about 4:15, he conducted a digitally recorded sworn interview outside of this teenager's residence and, you know, made sure, do you know the truth between lying and all that? Yeah, she called Maddie bipolar. She talked about her stop taking her medication on Valentine's Day for whatever unknown reason. This is the friend who talked about Maddie's menstrual cycle being late by a couple of weeks or so. We never know if it started. I'm assuming it started if they're saying it was late. I'm assuming her menstrual cycle started. She believed Maddie was a virgin. She never heard anything to the contrary. But this friend said Jennifer was never, quote, freaking out. And this 13-year-old picked up on it. She thought it was weird when Jennifer said she dropped Maddie off to school when initially Stefan said that he dropped her off. This is very important. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, I do it too. I don't know. I might say something in terms of my business like we did this or we did that when it's just me, like a solopreneur. But when it's something as important as a missing child, details matter, and you wouldn't get fuzzy like, okay, who dropped her off? Oh, we did, I did, oh, he did, you know, when pressed. You would stick with the details. So Jen talks about emailing teachers and all that, and I'm like, why email? And I wonder if they're talking about that app that they talked about in some certain teachers' interviews. Is that the app? And one of the teachers didn't get back to Jennifer until like 5:26, or either Jennifer didn't get in touch with him until 5:26. So why didn't Jennifer use something more immediate, like going directly in the school? As soon as Maddie didn't come out, you know, maybe she would have waited till 4:15, 4:20, 4:30, and then go inside that school and like, who's still here? Find this girl.
And I'm before that email or after that email, but I started panicking and freaking out because she should have been to school. She should have made it.
And then I understand she forgot her phone, right?
Yeah.
Is it common for her to not have her phone?
Yes. She's got ADHD. She's super forgetful. She doesn't even... She never realizes that she's in the shower for a whole hour. She loses track of time. She's very...
And then you guys went looking for her, right?
Yes.
Where did you look? Like, did you drive somewhere? Did you walk? Like, where did you go look for her?
Okay.
So again, she's calling her super forgetful. Like, she'll forget. She'll lose track of time, Jennifer says. You know, Maddie might stay in the shower. She forgets she's in there a whole hour. And I'm like, she probably was hiding in that shower to get some peace. That might have been the only door she had where she could lock and get some privacy. Very sad. And she's probably like, out, damn spot. You know, like Lady Macbeth. If only I could just clean him off of me and just, you know, I can only put myself in the mind of how Maddie must have felt.
So, after her best friend called me, actually, or I talked to her best friend on the phone, I went back to the school to see, let me check her official attendance, let me see what's going on. They were already closed. Nobody was at the school. So I searched by backtracking into the school and then coming back out and seeing that there were no kids at the school at all. So then I drove office, everything was driving, and then I think that was a response from her teacher at that point. But
did you come back to the apartment at any point yesterday once you realized she was missing?
Stefan was at home waiting for us to get back, and then when I told him something was wrong, she never made it to school, he completely hauled it back to me, and then we all stood there waiting for the cops to show up, and they didn't show up till like 7:30. It took them a while to respond. I think they were looking for other missing kids around the area too.
So Jennifer's pretending she went out looking for Maddie. When it gets down to the get down and Tagler's trying to get more details, you know, did you drive somewhere? Did you walk? Like, where did you go? Jennifer's saying, okay, after her best friend called me, or actually I talked to her best friend, you know, I went back to the school, let me check her attendance. So did Jennifer specifically wait until the school was closed. Was it really closed? Was the school really closed? What time was it? You know, someone's usually there at least an hour after everyone left, or all these after school activities. Was it truly closed, or is Jennifer just saying that? She's saying, oh, it was closed, nobody was at school. I don't quite believe that. And she's backtracking, and she went to her mother's office and she got a response to her teachers, and this is the biggest red flag to me. Tagler asked Jennifer, did you come back to the apartment at any point yesterday, which would have been Monday, once you realized she was missing? Jennifer knows she's kind of caught. She goes, Stefan was at home, waiting for us to get back. Then when I told him something was wrong, she never made it to school. He completely hauled it back to my mother's office, and then we all stood there waiting for the cops. They didn't show up till like 7:30. So she's blaming the cops and trying to misdirect from the fact that, was anyone at home waiting for Maddie? Or did Jennifer know we don't need anyone back there waiting at the condo because Maddie's gone? So we don't know what time Stefan hauled it back to her mother's office, because the cops were contacted about 4-something p.m. They were called about 4-something. They were all at Jennifer's mother's office. I don't know if her roommates were there too. It was a bunch of family, everyone. What time did Stefan haul it back over there? Jennifer had been waiting. They waited for like 3 hours indeed for cops to show up. We don't know why it wasn't tagged as more of a code 3 emergency, blah, blah, blah. They waited 3 hours. What time did Stefan make it there? Let's say Stefan made it to, I don't know what time he made it there. Let's see if he made it there at 5:30. So from 5:30 until 7:30 when cops showed up, Jennifer did not tell Tagler, oh, it's okay, I had my roommates, or one of them, Angelique, or whomever, the other one, I knew they were waiting back at the condo, watching and waiting for Maddie to show up, and I told her to text me the minute she got there. She didn't say anything like that. She just said, Stefan was at home. She didn't say how long, but Stefan hauled it back to the office. So imagine if Stefan was at the office, and I don't know where the roommates were. Were they at work? Were they at the office? Were they at home? Where were they? Jennifer doesn't account for the fact that, wait, Maddie doesn't have her phone. If something went on and, you know, whatever happened, and she's back at that condo, whether she had to walk or someone dropped her off or whatever, I want to be there. I want her to know we're looking for her. Jennifer didn't account for that. And to me, I think that is the biggest red flag out of everything we've heard thus far. That's the biggest red flag, that Jennifer may have had guilty knowledge that no one needed to be waiting back at the condo for Maddie. Jennifer may have known Maddie was already in heaven by then. So she only needed to put on a ruse with Stefan standing there in that office, you know, rocking and waiting for the cops to show up, and of course having a convenient out, blaming the cops. Oh, it took you guys 3 hours. So that was her means of deflecting that question. Took them a while to respond. Jen is blaming the cops for their slow response, and she also says other missing kids were around the area, as if she's pointing to some random kidnapper. Now, indeed, the cop, we heard it over his radio. Is it this missing kid or that missing kid? So I hope they found the other kid. But Jennifer is like, she's smart. See, she's smart as a whip. She's saying Stefan was at home, and then he hauled it over, and then you guys took 3 hours, and there was other missing kids in the area. And Tagler kind of falls for it. I think Tagler kind of says something about, oh yeah, you know, if we were busy, or I believe one of the cops said something like that. Jennifer redirects. You know, she's saying, oh, it took so long, and there's some other missing kids in the area, as if to infer, oh, there's, you know, some serial abductor running around, instead of focusing on, wait, why weren't you concerned that Maddie could have shown up at home and no one was there? And another thing, I believe this was pre-planned. Let's all converge on my mother's office so we won't be waiting in this condo. We won't be bringing everyone to the condo, cops to the condo, because that's where cops believe Maddie was killed. So I believe it was a lot of redirection.
But yeah, no, we did not come back home until we were done with the police. We were done with everything. There was nothing else for us to do. Just except come back.
Where was her phone when all of this was happening?
With me.
How did you get the phone if you never came back here?
I took it with me to go pick her up from school. I was going to give it to her when she got in the car and be like, listen, you forgot your phone again, and let her play on it. I'll do that sometimes when she forgets it. I bring the phone with me and I just give it to her afterwards. But I had brought it with me to go pick her up from school.
Okay. And you works where?
I'll get you the address exactly. Yeah.
And then did you at any point check her phone out while you had it?
Yes. Tell me about it. Okay.
So they're trying to find out where her mom works and all that. Jennifer talks about being too panicked and too worried to look at Maddie's phone herself, so she handed the phone to her sister and her niece, and they were going through her texts. And I'm like, did Jennifer want extra witnesses? Was she not expecting, in this lens toward her innocence, was she not expecting them to find anything weird? Or maybe she was looking for someone to kind of alibi and find stuff on Maddie's phone that pointed to Stearns. Maybe Jennifer was ready to roll on him, like, you know, the niece and Jennifer's sister had to start seeing all this weird communication between Stearns and Maddie if it hadn't been deleted. I mean, the cops found it. They found it actually on Maddie's phone. So her sister and her niece may have found it. I think they might have thought that's strange. Maybe Jennifer wanted them to see it. Anything that would take the heat off of her having any knowledge. But Tagler is no nonsense. She doesn't let Jennifer ramble. Just the facts, ma'am, and I love it.
Actually, I started looking, but I could not concentrate on reading anything. I was too panicked and too worried. I handed the phone to my sister. She's the one, and my niece. They both started going through her texts. I saw her texts. Nothing seemed weird. No weird random people. Everyone is someone I was familiar with or had heard about. They checked her Roblox. They checked her Discord. I checked her Discord as well. There was nothing weird. One of the police officers taught me to look at deleted text messages. We looked at those as well. They were random text messages deleted. They weren't anything. Do you remember where you were when you were looking at her phone? Yes. Which is where? Let me see. Is it okay if I call her? Yes. I'll get the exact address.
So she's asking, where were you looking? At my mom's office. She doesn't know where it is. Jennifer's calling her, like, is it okay if I call her? She calls her mom. Jennifer's mom does not answer both of her calls that night. Now, of course, she could have been asleep, exhausted, worried. You know, maybe she didn't want to get involved with Jen's shenanigans. Yolanda had already said she didn't know why Stefan was back in town. She didn't like Stefan. Now, according to Facebook rumors, this is before any of the body cam came out. I had heard that Jennifer's mom was mad at her, you know, because of Stefan. I don't know if this part is true or not. Again, it's just rumors. But it you can kind of pick up on that body language in the body cam videos. Jennifer's mom is standing back there. They're hugging. She's talking to some other woman. You know, she doesn't come up and comfort Jennifer. I think Jennifer's mom is kind of like, look, what is happening? Why is this dude here? Like Jennifer's mom said, look, he doesn't work. He doesn't do anything. Jennifer just doesn't want to be alone. And she was probably like, why is this dude back up here? And now Maddie's missing. And now you're acting weird. So Jennifer's mom might have been done with her. Like, look, I'm not answering your calls. I'm not being part of your shenanigans. Maybe she just wanted to know, only call me if Maddie is found. I don't know. But this was the biggest red flag when Tagler is like, where did you guys look, Jennifer? And Jennifer's like, in the Hunters Creek area. Did you come back here at any point to the condo? Jennifer says no. And that's the biggest red flag to me. If no one was home, you know, how did she know that Maddie wouldn't arrive home? And Maddie would be there without a phone. If no one was home, could Maddie even get in the house, in the condo?
And then, well, she answers, were you guys, when you guys were looking for her, did you guys keep looking for her in the Hunters Creek area or somewhere else? Hunters Creek area. Okay. Did you guys come back here at any point? No. What time did you guys come back home? Hold on a second. What time did we come back? What time did we come back? That was a very good question.
What time did you come back? Oh, hold on a second. Jennifer's like, I'm getting her answering message. So the call's being forwarded. She's trying to call her mom to get info. What time did we come back? What time did we come back? That's a really good question. I was going to say like somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. Did you guys go back out after that? Yes, Stefan did. So Basically, from the time the cops arrived, what time was it? Like 7:46 p.m.? And they talked to Jen and Stefan Stearns and all of that. Jen and Stefan and whomever else, I don't know, must have gone back to the condo around 8 or 9 p.m. So all the way from what, 4:40 something till 8 or 9 p.m. was the condo empty. I don't know when Stefan hauled it back, but was that condo sitting empty? Was anyone there waiting for Maddie to arrive home? I feel like if someone was, Jennifer would have offered it to Tagler and said, oh, it's okay, Angelique was home. You know, she was waiting for her, or whomever was home. So this is when Stefan went back out.
I was gonna say it was like somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock p.m. Did you guys go back out after that? Stefan went back out. And this was last night, right? Yes. Okay. Where was after this?
With me.
Okay. Did you leave the house at any point with her phone after this?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
Or no, I think it's been home all day today too.
It's been home all day today?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
What time did the police take her phone?
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, they took it. I don't have it anymore. What time did he take the phone? I've made so many phone calls today and seen so many people today that
was it light out or dark out?
It was light out. It was
still light.
Yeah, it was during the daytime.
And then, but other than that, her phone was here all day.
In the morning, yes.
Did Jen really believe that Stefan went back out searching for Maddie in the middle of the night? She talks about his insomnia, but he tells cops he's been zonked out on Ativan. So which is it? You know, is he just sleeping during the day? And they're tracking down where Maddie's phone was during this time. And Jen's like, oh, I think it's been home all day. And that's when she's like, I'm pretty sure it's been home. And then she realizes, oh yeah, the cop took it. And she goes, just kidding, just kidding. And you know, she might not mean, I know kids say JK, JK a lot. And she might just mean, oh, just kidding, just kidding. She doesn't mean it like she's joking. She's mean it like, oh yeah, I made a mistake. I was just kidding. I remember they took the phone. Tagler's like, was it light or dark out or what? And there's a lot of pauses. Did Stefan have access to the phone? And there's a long pause. Jennifer is exhaling or yawning or something.
Did you guys take the phone anywhere other than when Detective Hunt took the phone?
I think it's been home all day. I don't think I left the house with it.
Okay. Did Stefan have access to the phone?
I'm sorry, I took my medicine, so I feel a little spacey. I think I've had it with me. I think it's been with me.
Okay. Did you go through her phone today?
Yes.
Okay. Where was that at?
Here.
And what were you looking for at that time?
To see if there was anything else. What we couldn't access on Monday night was Roblox. So my niece came over and logged into her Roblox and checked out messages. But then they were also, my sister was also looking for her phone to see if there was anything.
Here at the house?
Yes.
And that was today?
Yes.
Again, another tangent, another feel sorry for me tangent. I took my meds, so I feel a little spacey. I think I had the phone with me. I think it's been with me, blah, blah, blah. She did go through Maddie's phone. People helped her check Maddie's Roblox and all that, and messages and all that stuff. They're asking about Maddie's iCloud info. Now we know Google Drive is how Stefan was busted. By the way, Jen keeps on subtly correcting, don't call him Stefan, call him Stefan. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things I kept noticing.
Okay, do you guys have her account information as far as like her iCloud and all that stuff? Or is it just on her phone?
I've had a hard time logging into it before when
was trying to get her a new phone. So I'm not sure if I can log in to her iCloud. I think it's all on her phone.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because so like they took the phone and they downloaded it, right? They can see like if somebody tries to access her accounts and stuff like that. So if you guys do have access to anything, if you guys can refrain from like logging back in.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So it doesn't look like she if she tries to like access her accounts from like somewhere else, that way we can track that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So they're asking if you can, just try not logging into any more of her accounts so that when he's going through the phone, it doesn't look like she's trying to log on from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else that they wanted us to clarify?
Did you find the address to your...
Sorry, let me call her again.
Or what's the name of it?
Oh, if I could remember her business name, I don't know.
What kind of business is it?
It's an insurance business. I think Advanced Insurance something group.
And then I know that you've been with us for the most part of the day, right?
Yes.
We have, I want to say maybe like 40 people out here, okay? Between us and Kissimmee. And we're all, going to be working basically overnight and throughout the day tomorrow until we, okay?
So Jennifer had a hard time logging in. Tagler goes on to explain to her, like, look, don't try and log into Maddie's accounts anymore because we want to make sure it's distinguishing you guys from trying to log in from Maddie trying to log into her accounts. Then Jennifer's calling her mom again, and her mom just may have been worn out, probably sleep. It's 11:30. That's probably why she didn't answer. She's trying to remember her business name. It's an insurance something, blah, blah, blah. Tagler's telling her, look, we've got all these people out here, and you guys can't basically go back into the condo. Does that make sense? Jennifer, of course, may be tired, of course, medicated, long day. I know there's a lot of excuses for her not asking questions, but I feel like any other caring mom would have said stuff like, well, what are they looking for? What do you guys think happened? Do you think someone took her from the house? Like, why do you guys need the condo? What's going on in there? Like, if Jennifer truly had no idea, if she was truly shocked beyond shock of what Stefan was accused of doing to Maddie, and if she was this truly deer in the headlights mom, I don't know what's going on, totally shocked, I feel like she would have a lot more questions. Like, wait a minute, we're thinking someone abducted her from over there by Peace Church. Why are you guys in our condo? Did you find something that leads you to the condo? What are you guys doing in there? What do you need to take our cars for? What's happening? She doesn't ask any of that stuff. So there's forensics coming out. Tagler does a great idea of explaining all that.
Tonight, what we're gonna do is, I know we already secured your house, right? We asked everybody to leave. So another thing that I'm gonna ask is if you guys can find somewhere else to stay for the night, because we're gonna have Kissimmee out here at your apartment for the rest of the night, because the people that come and like take pictures and all that other stuff are not gonna respond until the morning. Okay, so nobody can go into the house for the rest of the night until the house gets, we need to take pictures and do other stuff with the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
And unfortunately, because you guys have such a big apartment, it's not something that only one person does. Like, we don't do that, right? We have our forensics unit come out. And it's not something that one person can do by herself. So she has to wait until people come in, because they're on call after midnight, right? So she has to wait for the other people to come in the morning, and then they're all going to come in as a unit and try to get it done as quick as possible.
Okay. I need to go back into the house. I have medication that I have to take in order to be like normal. Is there a possibility that I can go back in there and get my meds?
Yes. Give me a few minutes, and then we'll try to figure out how we can get your medication. Okay, but that's something that we can definitely get. Okay?
Of course, Jennifer's worried about her medication. She wants to get her medication. And then Jennifer makes a quip once she figures out she can't go in the condo Tuesday night. She's like, yeah, makes sense. I just don't know what we're gonna do about finding a place to go, but okay, we'll figure it out. Basically calls Stefan's dad.
Does it make sense what I'm telling you? Yes. I just don't know what we're gonna do about finding a place to go, but okay. And then
it's a natural concern, but she does seem more concerned about where she's going to sleep that night with her boyfriend, not in getting away from him, not in figuring out why these cops need to impound our cars and take Stefan's car and lock it up for forensics and lock up the house and we can't go in, and what do you guys know that I don't know, and why is sex crimes units here? What the heck is going on? No, I need a hotel room for my boyfriend. Now, to be fair, again, I have heard Jennifer mention sometimes, somehow throughout these interviews, like, I just want my baby. We'll hear that. I think she says something like, it's hard to hear, but like, is she being fed or whatever? She does mention certain areas of concern for Maddie. It's hard to hear, but I don't know. She's really concerned about her own meds, about where her and Stefan are going to be. And now she's concerned, as we learned from Chris Stearns, about Stefan getting a lawyer. So this is pretty much, I think, the end. She gets the address to Jennifer's mom's place. And then Jennifer's talking about, again, trying to, get that timeline honed down. They're trying to figure out, okay, how long were you at, your mother's office? And she got there around 4. She must mean 4:15 or later, because she waited for Maddie for 10 minutes, right? And we'll see, I left and came back at 4:45. And so it's not clear. Were you there today? And they're trying to figure out who was at the office with Maddie's phone. Well, the cops already knew the movements of Maddie's phone that day, because Detective Hunt went back to that office that day with Maddie's phone. And he went back there just because Jennifer's uncle had walked the path that Maddie supposedly walked along the trail. He found a wallet and he had given it to Detective Hunt to see if it was of interest. So I'm like, wow, Jen's family must have searched more than she did, more than her and Stearns did, because Stearns definitely knew there was no reason to search for Maddie. The question is, did Jennifer know? That's my question in examining all these interviews.
Because lost in Stefan's car, we're also going to tow his car. Okay. Do you have any questions about anything that I'm telling you? Okay, so from now on, it'll probably be me getting in touch with you, okay? Not Detective Hunt. Okay? Do you understand everything that we discussed? Yeah. Okay. Can I get your direct number? Yes. And job address, if I remember correctly, is 13550 Village Park Lane, Suite 125. In Orlando, Florida. That's in Hunter's Creek. Hunter's Creek, right? Yeah. Okay.
Village Park Drive, you said?
Yes. Yeah.
And 13550.
Yes. Is that like an apartment complex? It's a business building? I don't know. It's a building with a lot of business and offices inside.
When did you say you were there?
I got there around 4, well, see, I left and came back, so 4:45, I got there, and I think I stayed until they had left. Were you there today? No. Is there anyone would be anywhere near that area today? No, I don't think so. It's been with me. Oh, Detective Hunt went back to that office. I'm so sorry, and he had her phone. Okay, he had her phone at that time. Yeah. Why did he go back to that office? Because my uncle had walked the path along the trail, and he had found a wallet with, not 90, but like credit cards and something that had somebody's state on it. So he went to pick it up to see if it was of any interest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my business card. I'm still here for a little bit longer. I'm going to talk to Stefan one more time. There was like a few things that we needed to clarify with him. And then, we're gonna, like me physically, after I get done talking to Stefan, I'm gonna try to go get rest, right? Because we're gonna continue to do all this.
Yeah.
There's other detectives that are coming from my unit, okay? So like there's always gonna be somebody here.
Okay.
So just because I physically am not here, don't think that we're not physically working on this. We have a lot of people in our unit, right? So we're taking like shifts. And then the people we have violent crimes out here as well. And they're here till 4 in the morning. So I don't want you to think that like, just because I'm leaving, that we're not still actively working on this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they are here till 4 in the morning, and then the day shift people that also work violent crimes come in around that same time, so they're going to take over. So like we have like people working till a certain time, and then other people coming and taking over, okay? So like I said, just because I physically am not here doesn't mean that we're not still working on something. Does that make sense?
Real quick, I don't remember if Detective Tagler asked, but yesterday when you guys were out looking, do you remember what time you were out looking till?
So yesterday, I stayed in the office. My family went out searching.
Which office?
1355, yeah.
You stayed until what time?
I'm gonna say somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. I left and then I came home.
You came straight here?
Yeah.
And then who was out? Your family was out looking?
Yeah, but I think they all stopped actually I'm not sure. One of my uncles might have kept searching along the trail, but I'm not sure until what time he was out. My dad as well.
What about Stefan?
Stefan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be.
What car was he driving?
My car.
Was anybody driving Stefan's car?
No, just Stefan.
And what time was he out?
I have no idea. I fell asleep. But I know he drove my car because when I got into it, I said, "Oh, the seat's adjusted. Did you drive my car?" He goes, "Yeah, remember I said I was going to take a drive tonight to go search for her because he does have like insomnia. He can't sleep at night sometimes, and especially like that's what's going on right now. But I'm not sure what time he may have come in or out. But if you guys look at my gate clicker, you need that to come in the front gate. You can see what times he may have come in and out.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else for you. We're gonna clear some things with Stefan, and then I will let you know before I head out. Okay? Do you promise that everything you said today is true?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Angela recording at 009.
So Jennifer finds out her mom's address and she talks about Stefan going out, in the middle of the night. He went searching for, cruising around to see if he could figure out where Maddie might be. Now, cruising might be a yucky word, but she was probably trying to distinguish the fact that, okay, Stefan was just driving around as opposed to walking and beating the bushes, as he said Jen's family was doing. And he was driving her car because it's not a hoopty. Jennifer's vehicle was a 2022 Nissan Sentra, and Stefan's car was a 2010 Lincoln MKZ, so it was older. Was anyone driving Stefan's car? No, just Stefan. Jennifer's like, don't put me in that mess. I wasn't driving that car. They're like, okay, well, what time was he out? Jennifer's like, I don't have any idea. I fell asleep. He was driving my car. And this part almost sounds valid. She said when I got into it, the only reason she knew Stefan had gone out was because she goes, oh, the seat's adjusted. Did you drive my car? And he goes, yeah, remember I said I was going to take a drive to go searching for Maddie? Jennifer was conked out, able to sleep, not knowing Stefan had left during the middle of the night until she noticed her car seat had been adjusted. So did she believe Stefan's lie? Maybe. But she did say Stefan has insomnia. He can't sleep at night. I don't know. He didn't tell cops that when he claimed to be zonked out on Ativan. But she does say, look, Jennifer is saying, look, if you look at my gate clicker, you know, you need that to come into the front gate. You can see what time Stefan came in and out. So maybe Jen wasn't lying. I'm looking at everything in her favor and out of her favor. She's saying, look, check those gate clicker movements to see what time Stearns was moving about. So she's offering up info there that she didn't need to offer. Now, finally, let's look at this last interview, because that one ended technically Wednesday at 12:09 a.m. Wednesday morning, you know, Tuesday after midnight, but it was Wednesday morning, lasted about 35 minutes. Now, let's look at this really revealing interview with Detective Hunt, the last one, transportation to Central Ops on Wednesday. So they're going to the presser. I don't know what time it is. It starts off with Chris Stearns. He's there asking Jen if her dog will stay in the car with him. And, you know, this is where she's giggling. Detective Hunt, I don't know if he's cute or what, but she's like, you know, encouraging him, because he's like calling his vehicle, mine's the piece of junk over there. And Jennifer's giggling and saying, oh, one day you'll have a really nice upgrade.
Detective Hunt, OCSO case 24-0011313. Transportation of Jennifer Soto to Central Operations.
Will he sit in the back seat okay, Mike?
Yeah, he'll probably honestly stand on the center console watching you drive.
Does he?
Oh, critic.
Yeah.
Backseat driver becomes console driver. Okay.
Are you the Nissan over there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm right next to you.
That's yours there?
Yeah, that's that piece of junk.
Okay, one day you'll get a really nice upgrade.
And will the presser release start without her? And so he's talking about, how long have you been in Florida? Jen is saying she's lived there about 15 years or so. Her mom had purchased a home and her dad gave up custody. And at 21, she went to live in New York about a year. She didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. She moved back.
Hey.
Alright, it's going to be a little cramped for about probably 30 minutes or so.
Will the press release start without us?
We'll probably get there in time. So how long have you lived in Florida?
I'm gonna say I moved when I was like 14 or 15. My mom bought a house and my dad gave up his half of custody so we can move down here. So I'll say 14, 15, maybe 15. And then I moved back to New York City when I was 21 for like a year to try to live that life.
City life?
Try to live that city life. Work in an office, party at night. That was exhausting, and honestly, I did not like it. I just like going home and going to sleep.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
No, I did not like the commute, the subway. I mean, I lived in New York, so I was used to subways and buses and all that stuff. But when you actually had to do it every day for work, that was pretty exhausting.
So the subway is kind of my pet peeve. I can't stand the idea of being, a foot away from someone that I don't know, for an extended period of time. Because I didn't realize just how crowded they were until I took one for the first time. And it's like, person standing
Yeah,
in front
you're
of you, person standing behind
And
you.
then you're all sharing the same pole, so like dirty hands.
Oh yeah, there's one person. It's just like stacking hands. So I've never been a fan. Never been a fan at all.
She talks about only sleeping a few hours the night before. This is where she says, I just want my baby back. My anxiety keeps my brain circling. Where is she? Is she okay?
Did you guys get any sleep last night?
I think I went to bed around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I woke up around 8 or 9. So I slept a few hours, but
Good.
like I snoozed a little bit while we were waiting for you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to make you wait so long. I really was on the way out here. And
No,
then,
it's okay. If
like
you
I
guys
said,
had leads, I don't give a shit. Like I don't care as long as you guys are doing what you guys gotta be doing. Like, and it seems like you are. So
yeah, no, we didn't. I went home for a couple hours just because I had to sleep, but came back out. And this is the only thing anyone's working on right now, so this is important.
my anxiety keeps my brain circling, just wondering, where is she? Is she okay? I hope she's fine. Like, I just want my baby back. I just want her back.
It's natural. I mean,
these are the normal things you hear about a mom talking about, but is she just saying it because she should say things like that? Does she know she's being recorded? Or is she truly worried about these types of issues? She talks about only contacting Fox 35. She talks about her family. Jennifer's family had put her phone number, and I've seen it before, on the flyers, on Facebook, on everything when Maddie first went missing. So all these news orgs were, contacting her. It was overwhelming her and all that. But it's weird how I just read in a different report how Jennifer allegedly, while Stefan was sleeping one of these days, Monday or Tuesday, she had called the missing child's hotline and she had called all these news orgs. But in this interview, she's going to say, I only called Fox 35. My family called the rest of these places.
that's just about the only rational way to be, right?
Yeah.
Message.
So you've been getting bombarded by the news media and reporters. How are they getting your number?
I think my family and my friends. So on the first day, my family and friends made like flyers and put my phone number on it.
Okay. That's
and then also they all reached out to the news media to try to get their attention. And I don't know if they gave them my number or what, but
probably. Or I mean, they probably just looked it up online. It's surprisingly easy sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't directly contacted any news station. I don't think. No, just kidding. Just Fox 35, and I did that like on the first night, like right after we got home and like we reported her missing.
Yeah.
I called that night, but they needed more information from the police. But that was the only place I called, and then everyone else started calling me. So I'm just feeling super overwhelmed with all these messages, and they all want to meet up or interview or do this or that, and I've just been pushing it off because I wasn't home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything at the hotel.
Well, I saw you did one interview, right? Because I think I saw you on the news last night.
Yeah. I did, I think, 3 on-camera interviews. But, there's not, for today, there's not much else for me to say. There hasn't been more information. I'm not going to find out until whatever happens to the press release, so.
Well, I think I spoke with Stephanie's ex. And Stephanie had expressed to me earlier just that she was feeling, I guess, helpless, like y'all have done so much, your whole family has been so active and looking for her and making the flyers, making phone calls, drawing this attention.
And so that's when the detective is asking her about St. Cloud's, and she keeps talking about going to the press release and not wanting to be bombarded by the media. She falls for the ruse. She's telling her sister, Jennifer's telling her sister, Stefan is in the other detective's car because he had a bigger seat. Stefan's dad is following us. He's got Sailor the dog. These cops are like, look, Jen, you're going to be here. Stefan, you're going to be over there. Eventually, Stefan, you're going to be headed off to jail tonight. And Jennifer, they're telling Jennifer, we want to keep you away from the media, gag haggle. They probably had her off in some room watching her watch the presser. I can't remember what they said in this presser, but this was not the one where they said, "We think Maddie's dead." That did not happen till Friday.
But at a certain point, you know, it's like you've done everything that you can do, and it's natural to just kind of feel like, you know, you have to depend on now us to kind of do our thing, you know.
Yeah. Everyone, we were talking about like possibly, I guess that's something we wanted to throw by you, or maybe I already did, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But a search party thing, but we didn't want to get in the way of you guys, and you guys have already scoured the woods multiple times, so like that's the only place I would think of searching, right? So we don't want to do that. I think we're talking about like maybe hosting like a vigil of some sort or something, just to.
Okay.
I'm not sure. We're just trying to get some attention, more eyes on her face.
Well, you know, speaking of woods, so you mentioned to me that you, Stefan, and her used to go hiking in St. Cloud.
Just me and her. Me and her, and actually my sister.
Oh, okay. So you used to go down to St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you went?
Lake Lizzie Preserve. It's about 35 minutes off of 192. It's past St. Cloud, a little bit before Harmony.
Oh, so that's way south.
Yeah.
Got it. It's like that's like, what, 2 hours? An hour from your house?
No, 35 minutes.
Oh, only 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know that would be hard for a girl to get to.
Yeah, I don't think she would even remember how to get there. It's been at least over a year and a half since we did that hike.
But it was just you and your sister and her.
Yeah, and the kids, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that was just another thing I was thinking. Maybe if that was somewhere that she may have gone. Yeah, go ahead. How's the rest of the family holding up?
As good as possible. They're all getting ready in front of the TV or pulling up Facebook Live to see if they can see the press conference. They just thought that I would find out what's happening first before the press would, but I guess I'm finding out at the same time as everyone else.
But Jennifer is saying, look, my sister is saying, they thought I would find out stuff first, but I guess I'm finding out with everybody else. So Jennifer wants some privilege, and she will get privilege that following night when they tell her Thursday night, look, we think Maddie's no longer alive. They didn't tell the public that until Friday, March 1st. So she talks about Stefan was going to get some kind of job as a junior project manager on a construction site with his dad. That fell through. He's got to wait a specific amount of time to reapply at Disney. It has to be like 6 months from when he resigned. And I was like, oh, he wasn't fired from Disney. He literally gave up a Disney job. So at one point he worked at this Journey into Imagination with Figment. So we caught him. We've seen him on that video. But we didn't know he worked at Soarin' around the world at Epcot too. Now he did talk on Reddit about, oh, I got all these steps and, you know, dealing with, I guess, travelers and all that. I don't know why he quit. He shouldn't have quit any job. But Jennifer is saying, we're waiting, you know, for that, for him to reapply because I can't afford to, because she's saying, look, I don't work a lot. I have these disabilities. Jen doesn't make a lot of money. She admitted.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you everything. I've told you basically everything I know. They're probably not going to disclose, in my experience at press conferences, they don't disclose nearly as much as people think they will. This is the same thing I told Stephanie earlier. It's just kind of the nature of our job. It's the nature of the resources we use. We can't reveal some of our methods just because that can be used later by bad people, right? Yeah. To exploit that. So, I don't know what they're going to release. I'm not the one doing it. They may ask specific questions that warrant different responses. Information that maybe I don't know. But yeah, I'll be there too. So I think it's funny. You know, everyone thinks that we all know kind of the collective information, but sometimes we go to these press conferences and we learn, you know, stuff like, I don't know, told me that.
Yeah.
Stefan got a job up in Northport, right?
So his dad works for a real estate company, and I guess had been told that they were going to offer Stefan a job as a project manager or like a junior project manager on a construction site. Like they're going to teach him the ropes, kind of thing, like an apprenticeship. And that fell through. So it ended up never happening.
Oh no, that stinks.
Yeah.
So is he he lives down there, right?
Yeah, he lives down there.
What does he do down there now? I mean,
He's just hanging out with his parents.
Okay.
I think he's looking for a job locally, but in reality, we're just waiting for him to be able. He's got to wait a specific amount of time for him to reapply back at Disney where he used to work.
Oh, he used to work at I think he said Epcot?
Yes. Yeah, so he wanted to go back. He wants to go back. But I think we have to wait like about 6 months from when he resigned.
Okay.
So we're waiting for that to kick in so he can get his job back. And in the meantime, he just has to get something down there to be able to save up to come up here because I can't afford to. I'm disabled. I work part-time. Like, I don't make that much money.
Yeah.
Now they're clearing up, okay, are Stern's parents not doing well? Stern's made it sound like his parents were on death's door. They're deaf and old and blah, 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 yelling at each other, but his parents sound okay. Jen's like, well, I don't know if they're, sick, but they're not doing well financially. They're super old. His mom is mentally not where she used to be. She gets very lost and confused, but she does say, they took me in, they loved on us, and I hate they redacted a lot here. But she's talking about Maddie. She said that is his buddy. That is his partner. Whenever there's a new game, a new hobby, he's a big hobbyist. They were always playing, past tense. They were each other's buddy, past tense. So that's why that officer, he noticed it. He's like, well, did they get less close over time? If anything, no. They got closer as he moved away. He was like FaceTiming all day or meeting whatever it is on Androids.
Yeah, I didn't know his dad was was an Orange County deputy at one point.
Yeah, back
he worked for us way back when.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
How were they? How were his parents doing? Stefan mentioned that they might be. He said something about they were sick a little while ago, or they were ill, or they weren't doing so well at one point. I don't know if I may have misheard.
I don't know if they were not doing well with illness. I know they were struggling financially.
Okay.
So they might have not been doing well that way.
I may have misheard. I thought he said something about them being elderly and not as active and needing his help, kind of thing.
That's true. That they're very old. His mom is super old and very ill. She's very, no offense to her, she's a very heavy woman, and like her health is just not the best. She's had so many surgeries and like had complications from her surgery. She's very, like, mentally, she's not like where she used to be. She gets very lost. She gets very confused sometimes, and it's just like,
I didn't know if he like had moved down there to help them, or kind of keep them comfortable, or if they were, he had mentioned them briefly, and so it was cool getting to meet him because he talks very highly of his dad.
Yeah, his dad's a really nice guy. They've always treated me like family, and like when I met them, I kind of had a strained relationship with my family, so they like took us in. They loved on us. Yeah, they are. They really are. So.
Sounds like their family is. And forgive me if this is a personal question, but I just wanted to verify with you. I had heard a couple different things, and it's so funny when you talk to so many people over the course of a short period of time. You see how everyone kind of sees things a little bit differently sometimes, and so that was just one thing I figured I'd clarify with you.
Like, even very childish too. He loves playing video games. He loves playing board games. That is his buddy. That's who his partner is when he loves hobbies also. Very big hobby goer. So every time he discovers a new game or a new hobby, he gets sucked in and involved and want to play as well. And they were always playing. I would watch. I wasn't into the games. They can.
But you watch, you enjoy them enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Some board games I will play with them. Some of them, but, it all depends. But they were each other's buddy.
Has it changed at all as the years have gone on? Have they gotten any less close as she's come to be like a teenager?
No. If anything, closer ever since he moved away, because now as soon as we get home or a little bit afterwards, we'll FaceTime him, and we'll be on FaceTime all day just talking or bullshitting or keeping each other company. Sometimes not even talking. Sometimes I'll be on my phone messing around and he'll be busy on his computer doing something, but we're just keeping each other company. He would be around for that as well. Not FaceTime, but Duo or Meet, whatever it's called.
In the first few years, Jen says she was hyper vigilant as hell. Never trust a man, not even my dad. I wonder why she said that. And her dad giving up custody. Was there abandonment issues? I'm wondering all this stuff about Jen. But she would question if anything was weird with Stefan, but nothing really was truly weird. Jen does admit it sounds weird, a little girl sleeping with a man who is not her dad. There's several past tenses here. She never liked sleeping alone, and she corrected herself there.
Oh yeah, for androids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you've ever had any concerns about Stefan. You know him really well, and you've never seen anything wrong with each other, right?
No. If anything, like, for the first few years I was hypervigilant as hell, because I was just like, never trust a man. I don't care who it is, never trust anyone, not even my dad, right? Like, never trust anyone. was very vigilant for the first few years of how he would interact with her and what he would do, and I would question if anything was weird, but nothing ever was truly weird. I'm just like, okay. I even had a rule for the longest time, for sleepovers with him, as in, if he were to sleep in the guest bedroom upstairs, and I would say, no, you guys can hang out and do whatever, but you're sleeping with me.
Understandable.
Just because even if I've known him for 7 years, the idea of course it would weird anyone out, a little girl sleeping with a man that's not her dad. It sounds weird, but so I haven't. I trusted him enough to let that even happen that night, you know?
Yeah. I mean, is it common? Because I know you said you would never let him in the past, but is it common to let her sleep up with him or let them spend a lot of time alone together?
I think I'm going to say I've let them sleep together less than what I can count on these two hands.
Okay.
Not much. But a lot of the times it was just the three of us sleeping together on my bed too. But that got uncomfortable as hell too. She just kicks and like sprawls and like.
Only so many people, right?
And what's funny is even on a king bed, if it's just me and her, she'll start off on one corner of the bed and I'll be on the other. And then when I wake up, she is on top of me and then like way past the middle, like next to me, touching me. And I'm just like, how did this happen? How did you? It's such a big bed. But yeah.
Well, she loves you, that's why.
Yeah. But I would wake up feeling like, oh my god, I'm on the corner.
You know, some kids are like that though. Some kids just can't get close enough to. Even when they start developing their like teenage attitude and the hormones start raging a little bit, then some kids just can't, get close enough to their friends.
She makes it seem like Sunday night was one of the only times she allowed Maddie to sleep alone with Stefan. And Jen says she used to let them hang out in the guest bedroom and do whatever. But as far as sleeping, you're sleeping with me, Maddie. But then the cop is like, well, when did that change?
It's because they love you that much.
Yeah. I would like to think that that's the case. She never liked being alone. She never liked sleeping alone. Ever since she was a baby, like I tried sleep training her and that was a complete failure. I just had to learn that she had to sleep with me, and she wanted to be with me all the time. So, like, even now, like, I hope she's not alone. I mean, or I don't know, she's being taken care of, or she's safe. I don't know. Like, I worry about that.
How was her, I don't think I asked you, or I may have not asked you very much, but how was her party on Sunday?
So I wasn't there, I was working.
Okay.
But from what I was told, she had an amazing time. My entire family was there.
Oh, is Stefan there?
Stefan was there.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard you mention something about you singing at the party, but maybe I was mistaken.
No, he was on his way here from Northport, Florida, during the party.
Okay. And so he would have gotten here like Sunday night?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She might have been home around 8:30, and I think Stefan walked into the house about 10 minutes later and made sure that she was supposed to, which was take her meds and get in the shower and get ready for bed.
Yeah.
So when I got home from work, she had already showered, she had taken her meds, she was getting ready, she was ready.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I thought I'd heard him say something about her, like, singing a song that night or introducing her to a new movie or something.
Yes, she started singing. So she's in chorus. She's got such a beautiful voice. She was singing, practicing one of her chorus songs, and Stefan heard it, and he's like, wow, you have such a beautiful voice. Let's watch, I think, Sister Act.
Sister Act, yeah.
So we wanted to watch a movie about singing, and she liked it. But we didn't finish the whole thing.
I have not seen Sister Act.
County SOE 6 Low.
When he mentioned it, I confused it with I was thinking of that other movie from Friday.
723.
It's completely different, I know.
Yeah.
County 3305 up.
3305 Alpha.
Somebody call 940, please.
Petty theft and a threat, 7640 West Sand Lake Road at the Publix. My meal is 36.
I don't think I asked you, or I might have forgotten, but what's your
wearing all
job?
black and then signaled Jerry took a sandwich and a drink. No one in the clinic confronted him to be a threat to killer. He asked for less attended towards I-40.
Okay. Oh, so you're a Disney family?
Code 213.
All of us do.
Man. And what is, or what did, Stefan do at Epcot?
He worked in attractions. So he worked on the Soarin' ride and the Journey into Imagination with Figment ride.
We'll use our police privilege.
Yes.
That's cool. My girlfriend worked for Disney for a long time. She was a character performer. The ones in the costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said apparently that's like a big deal there.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy how you can just be in a costume, but you can make so many people so happy. My sister used to be a character performer as well. She was like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, all the Lilo Stitch, the short.
Yeah, short ones.
Yeah. But I think she said she had to quit because she kept getting Donald Duck and his butt was really heavy and kept hurting her back. She was really having a lot of back pain, so she had to quit.
Now that you say it, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were so stringent with who they let be character performers, though. She was saying, like, you have to fit a height requirement, a weight requirement, you have to learn choreographies, and all these mannerisms.
Yeah, North Bay 1.
Learn all the different signatures for every character.
To be a prince, you have to be like 6 foot something, because you have to be taller than all the princesses. Crazy.
Anyway, I can't wait to watch the rest of any of Stefan or Jennifer on video. I don't know what we're going to get, when we're going to get it. That's why I'm like, let me do this deep dive while I'm waiting. Let's close with Acts 1:10 through 11. While they were looking intently into the sky as he was going, 2 men in white clothing suddenly stood beside them, who said, "Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into the sky? This same Jesus who has been taken up from you into heaven will return in just the same way as you have watched him go into heaven." Woo, thank God I got through all of that. That's a big deep dive. That's all I could find. 6 interviews. Of course, some of them were just surreptitiously recorded without Jennifer knowing, perhaps on the sly. Only 2 of them were on body cam. 4 of them were on audio. Maybe I'll end up gathering everything I have for Stearns and do the same thing with him. Whew, it's a lot. It takes a lot. Editing takes a lot, but getting this out takes a lot. And then as we wait and see what more we get, creating more videos to see what evidence is released. I swear this discovery, all this info feels bigger. And of course, we don't even have it all. Maybe we only have 10% by now. Who knows? It feels bigger than even the Watts case. The Watts case was what, 6 years ago? And in that time, maybe there's so much more voluminous amounts of evidence of even body cam, of everything that was created. I don't even know what's going to be in these 266 videos that we're waiting for. More than 105 hours worth of video footage. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot of video footage. And 911 calls, we don't know what we're going to get. We just have to pay for it, take it, get it, and get what we get. So thank you for watching all this. Yeah, what are your thoughts about Jennifer? About, does she have guilty knowledge? Or, you know, I know Jennifer has a lot of her supporters and defenders and people who are saying, look, you guys, she didn't know anything about anything. I kind of feel differently after really digging into all these interviews, listening to the audio, listening to the way she answers questions, listening for the inconsistencies, her standing and windmilling for Stefan so much, begging his dad to get him a lawyer. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you for watching all this. Take care. We'll see what's next. Sounds like there's going to be enough to talk about this case for a long time, and keep praying continually in Jesus for Maddie to get justice, because she should have lived. She should have lived a wonderful, beautiful life. And I wish I could hear her singing voice. Maybe we'll hear it someday. Maybe it's in all this voluminous amounts of evidence we'll get. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for all your patience with me, all your support, all your kind comments, all your tips, everything. Thank you. Take care.